Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent. Charlie's angry. Looking down, he's angry at me now.
So there you have President Trump speaking yesterday from the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Hope you were able to watch it. If you weren't able to watch it, certainly to be able to listen to it here as 97.1 FM Talk and as the St. Louis Fox News radio affiliate was able to carry that. How did you take it in yesterday, Ryan? Did you watch it as a whole? Did you watch it in clips? What'd you do?
I kind of caught the end of it live, but then because I was catching the end of it and realized, oh, this is really good, I went back and watched a lot last night. And
in clips, or
in
did
clips.
you watch the whole thing?
No, in clips. So probably, if you were watching live, that's a different experience.
Very different.
Yeah,
watching it live would be very different. Watching it in revert, like going back and watching it as a whole piece as opposed to clips, would be very different as well.
Yeah, but the clips are great.
Oh, man,
I mean,
the
they're
clips are
amazing.
great. So we have Kayleigh McEnany coming up in about 13 minutes from right now. So I want you to keep it right here to hear what Kayleigh McEnany has to say. She was helping cover this event yesterday, and you cannot deny that faith was the leading star of the day yesterday at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. It was amazing to watch and consume each of these different speakers go up one after the other. And the speakers, they had some pastors up there, but these are not people who are in the position of prominence that they're in because they're great faith speakers, which I think is important to note when you're watching and listening to the message that speaker after speaker after speaker delivered. And you have to ask yourself the question, why is that? Is it because that's the way Charlie was? I think the answer is yes. But is it also because that's what matters? To all of these people who have found themselves in places of prominence, either in the public sector working in government, but also in the private sector working with Turning Point USA. There is a commonality among all of these people who were assembled in this room, and I think it's evident in their actions, not just their words. There were multiple remarks made at the memorial yesterday, but we've heard it and seen it quite a bit with people who were on the news, who were talking about it. That this is such an incredibly peaceful assembly of people. This is such an incredibly calm and collected group of people who are mourning and grieving the same thing. This is a moment, I said this last week. I've said it since it really happened, since Charlie Kirk died, that we have a truth problem in our country. Truth is so malleable from one invested speaker to the next, from one pundit, from one TV show host, that everybody can take truth and then they mold it into what they want to communicate to you, what they want to make you feel, what they want to make you think. And while the truth may be somewhere in the message that's finally delivered to you, oftentimes the truth in and of itself is not recognizable. And I think that there are people on the left and the right who are capable of doing this and certainly do. I have to guard my feed, my attention very much. So I'll just speak from being somebody who's on the conservative right, that there are people who would also be labeled as the conservative right, that when they speak on something, when they talk about what's going on in the world, I am very guarded to what it is that they are presenting to the viewer, the listener, the person who's clicking to read, whatever it might be, because there's an angle there. And it's very disconcerting to me that the truth is something that is not absolute. When the bullet pierced Charlie Kirk's neck while he was sitting on that stool behind a table holding a microphone, talking to somebody else who completely disagreed with him, who was standing at a microphone that he provided on a college campus that he went to engage in a conversation where he said, come to the front of the line and prove me wrong. That invitation is not what is celebrated in our very, very tribal political world that we're currently in right now. That's not something that is common, where you're going to say, come to the microphone, come speak to me and tell me how I'm wrong. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Now we're going to have a debate, we're going to have a conversation, but you can come have that conversation with me. I would like to listen to you. But that bullet pierces Charlie Kirk's neck. Everybody saw it. Everybody knew why Charlie Kirk died. There's no element of truth that has to be mulled about like, oh gosh, why did this happen? And the people who are out there pushing immediately, we don't know why this happened, are the ones who know exactly why it happened. That's defense mode from the people who are coming out and saying, gosh, we really don't understand what the motive is yet. We all know you're not that dumb, and I'm insulted that you think I'm that dumb. We know why Charlie Kirk died. It is an element of truth that needed no words. We saw it with our own eyes. We witnessed it. So what happens next? The more people who are exposed to truth, the more people are forced to think for themselves. The more people who have an agreeable piece of evidence, simple fact, that Charlie Kirk died because he thought something and he said what he believed. The more people who understand that, there's nothing in that statement that suggests that everybody has to agree with him. Charlie Kirk wasn't forcing anybody to agree with what he had to say. He was saying, I'm open to agreeing with you, what you have to say. Tell me how I'm wrong. And the world woke up in a moment and had to ask themselves a question. We know why he died. Why would somebody do something like this? Why would somebody take it this far to kill Charlie Kirk? That element of truth is undeniable. And like I said, the people who are working overtime, working their hardest to say, we don't understand the motive of this killer, they're the ones who feel the most concerned that the thing that they're advocating for might have been incredibly, maybe irreparably damaged in one single moment with one single bullet. Now, the question that I ask myself, not as a talk show host, but as a mom, as somebody who is trying to make sense of a world that I know is wrought with evil, what I'm trying to ask myself is, good grief, Lord, you talk in the Bible all the time about struggling and suffering over and over and over. You bless people for their suffering. Why would you do this? Why would so many people have to suffer? Why is it that you would allow the evil that plagues this world to cause so many people to suffer? What good can outweigh the suffering that Erica Kirk and her children, that Charlie Kirk's mom and dad and sister have to endure on such a public moment of truth like we were just talking about here? What good could come from that? And the start of it is 5+ hours of listening to people from the pulpit to the cabinet speak like this.
One of the things he wants us to take away from this, from all of this, is the following. His deep belief that we were all created, every single one of us, before the beginning of time, by the hands of the God of the universe, an all-powerful God, who loved us and created us for the purpose of living with him in eternity. But then sin entered the world and separated us from our Creator. And so God took on the form of a man and came down and lived among us. And he suffered like men. And he died like a man. But on the third day he rose unlike any mortal man. And to prove any doubters wrong, he ate with his disciples so they could see, and they touched his wounds. He didn't rise as a ghost or as a spirit, but as flesh. And then he rose to the heaven, but he promised he would return, and he will. And when he returns, because he took on that death, because he carried that cross, we were freed from the sin that separated us from him. And when he returns, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and we will all be together, and we are going to have a great reunion there again with Charlie and all the people we love. Thank you, and God bless you.
And God bless you. Rubio, he is the former senator of the state of Florida. Now he is the Secretary of State. He certainly was my leading choice in the 2015 primary to win the Republican nomination. And if I had one question, if I had the opportunity to interview Marco Rubio, the one question that I would ask him is, how were you served when you lost the primary in 2015? How was your life served, and how are you better prepared to serve this country because you lost that election? And now find yourself the Secretary of State in President Donald Trump's cabinet. Yeah, the guy who was calling him Lil Marco. Remember that? How have you been served, and how have you grown to serve the people because you lost? The sufferings and the struggles of what we're experiencing personally, I'm talking about sufferings and struggles that you're experiencing personally, have nothing to do with Charlie Kirk, have nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats. I'm asking you to see and to look inward. How are these sufferings and strugglings? How are they supposed to help me serve? Because the Charlie Kirk mode, his plan, his process was to go serve the people and give them a place to come talk. If you, I don't know how many of us have 5+ hours to sit down and watch something in full, in totality, like what we saw yesterday. But my goodness, in such tragedy, in Charlie Kirk's brutal assassination, in such struggle that the country, that the family of Charlie Kirk, that people who were there who witnessed it, and there are people who witnessed it there who were there to go prove him wrong, who may have been, I assume, for a lifetime affected by what they witnessed. There is a lot of suffering and struggling going on every single day. What blessings will come of that? I don't know that Charlie Kirk could have even imagined the blessing that his memorial service was yesterday for the world. It was quite something to see. We're going to break and speak with Kayleigh McEnany when we come back. Chad Pergram's going to join us at 1:30, so we're going to get an update from Capitol Hill from our friend Chad Pergram as well. Here's a question about Charlie Kirk's shooter. This is our YouTube live chat poll. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk, yes or no? Do you support the death penalty? Obviously, whoever the shooter is would have to be convicted before that would be levied. How do you feel about that? Death penalty, yes or no? We'll be right back.
Sweet summertime.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Can you consider the benefit of shopping with somebody who likes you? You have heard us talking about Michael's Flooring Outlet for decades on 97.1. They're a wonderful partner, and they are a wonderful partner to us because we know that when we send you to go shop for flooring at Michael's Flooring Outlet, that you are going to be well served, that you're going to be provided quality products, and that they are going to respect your hard-earned American dollar to invest in renovating, in transforming that space in your home, that space in your office with wonderful flooring products. They have 3 locations here in the St. Louis area. Check them out in Darien Prairie. You can shop Michael's Flooring Outlet in West County on Olive Boulevard, just a mile off 270 West on Olive. And you can also shop Michael's Flooring Outlet in St. Charles County. They're on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. For quality products like the Mohawk Silk Smart Strand line of carpeting, the Techwood Plus line of flooring, you want quality, you want value, and you want to shop with somebody who respects you and likes you and wants to meet you. Those folks are at Michael's Flooring Outlet, online at igotfloored.com.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgaier of Fire Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meyer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're grateful for you to be here with us today as we have been discussing the Charlie Kirk Memorial, taking that in and watching it and just being overwhelmed by it. I know a lot of you have reached out to me to explain that. We are asking you today about the death penalty. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? Yes or no? You can vote on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. I want to get to our guest, our friend Kayleigh McEnany, back with us, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News, and of course, former White House press secretary and author of Serenity in the Storm. Kayleigh McEnany, we have been through a storm here. Thank you for being with us today. It's good to have you back.
Hey, Annie, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. I watched as you were covering this Charlie Kirk Memorial yesterday. I just want to get your thoughts. Like, this is difficult stuff as a human to cover and to do your job and to consume all of this as it's happening. What was it like?
Yeah, it was a humbling task. It was an incredible honor that Fox allowed me, to be the voice on our airwaves with Lawrence Jones during that moment. It's amazing because all the way from New York City across the United States, you could feel the Holy Spirit moving. It's that feeling that you recognize when you walk in church. I felt it the first time I walked into my church, that you're just driven to tears and emotion. And it's because it's the Holy Spirit at work moving in the hearts of the people in that room. And you could feel it from all the way across the country. And the fact that the Kirk family, who designed this programming, chose to elevate the gospel message in speaker after speaker after speaker, ending in Erica Kirk saying, "I forgive him," the three hardest words she probably ever had to say, the three most powerful words you could ever say, the gospel message being lived out in real time on a stage, not said, but lived. It was incredible to watch. And it's a moment in history in our world that I will never forget.
Yeah, I think there are so many millions who are right there with you. Kayleigh McEnany joining us right now. I think it's a really interesting exercise for many of us who are in the Christian faith to balance, the kingdom of the right, the kingdom of the left. There's still justice that will need to be served to a convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk. I know they're looking into potential ties that might exist elsewhere. How does the message go forward of what the Kirk family put forward yesterday, of this grace and this mercy, while we still understand that we have an earthly justice system that does need to be served out? How do we do that?
Yeah, I think one wise commentator said that, Trump was kind of the voice of justice yesterday. And you had Erica, who was the voice of forgiveness. And both things are important. Justice is a real proposition. And, Attorney General Pam Bondi is taking the helm on that. And, we'll see if she files federal charges, but the state of Utah is currently taking the helm. But she's certainly, involved in the process, looking at the facts and where they match the law. So that process will play out, and it's an important one. But I think the message that Erica put forward is really the most important thing that's happening right now, because there's an epidemic of depression among young people, loneliness, the social media, the pressures that are put on these young women, and to have a voice that reorients our identity, not to politics, but to faith, is big. And Charlie cared deeply about politics. His politics were an outgrowth of his faith on the issue of life, on the issue of liberty. All of those issues stemmed from his core, but at his core was his faith. And ultimately, we don't find our identity in a political party. We find it in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And that message, I think, has the power to reshape the world. The martyrdom of Charlie Kirk and the mantle that his wife, Erica, has picked up.
So well said. Kayleigh McEnany speaking with us right now. I do want to ask you about the politics side of this now. So we've got the faith first message that came from the Kirk family, led by the Kirk family yesterday in such a beautiful way. The justice system will play in, but there's always going to be a political fallout in any situation like this. You've been at the highest of highs when it comes to communications and messaging, serving as the former White House press secretary. I think that the Republican Party and the conservative message has to handle this moment with care, because there's so much good that comes out of what the conservative side of the aisle has to offer. How do you see? What's your reaction to the people who are major influencers on the right, whether they be social media influencers, but more importantly, people who actually have voice and power and positions right now? How they're handling the reaction to so many people on the left, influencers on the left, who have just been absolutely awful about it.
I think they will show themselves. And, who said that to me was the House Speaker, Mike Johnson. I had him on my program on Fox Saturday in the 11 a.m. hour. And, he said to me, I personally drafted the resolution honoring Charlie Kirk. And I drafted it myself as Speaker of the House because I wanted it to be something we could all agree on, condemning the assassin, commending law enforcement, extending our condolences to Erica Kirk. He put all that down, and he said, I intentionally left out any partisan sort of language that wouldn't allow Democrats to get on board. And yet we still saw 55% of the Democratic Party refusing to sign on to those basic propositions. And at the end of our commentary on that subject matter, the House Speaker said, it's amazing, this attitude among Democrats. It's more prevalent than what we know. But in the end, they show themselves. So I think we need to be the party that articulates faith, family, freedom. This is at the core of the Republican Party and the conservative movement. And when we articulate that, it's a very powerful thing. And I think I've already seen it on Twitter, people who are not Republican, not conservative, not Christian saying, I recognize something yesterday. The happiness and the joy coming from these people who have made these, central tenets, the identity of their life. I recognize a piece and I want to be a part of that. So I think just simply articulating what our conservative movement is about, obviously calling out the left when it's needed, as the House Speaker did in such a kind way. But I think those two things, when you do them together, it's going to make it an unstoppable force as the Republican Party heads into next November.
Yeah, it certainly is. I want to talk about your new Saturday show, Saturday in America. I think people Kayleigh, the news cycle, as you know very well, is nonstop. And so Saturday, people are looking for something that is going to get them the latest of what is going on. What are you offering, Kayleigh, when people tune into Saturday in America on the Fox News channel to keep them up to date in the moment?
Yeah, so you nailed it, Annie. The news doesn't stop in Trump world. It really doesn't. And, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, the news continues. We brought the American public this weekend that body cam footage of that assassin that had just been released. And, we had news right there on the top of our show. But I think in addition to that, I love being on Saturday because I think it allows us to go a little deeper. A lot of times there's facts undergirding stories that get lost because there's so much noise in the week, a lot of chaos on weekdays. And I'm going to bring the facts just like I did at the White House podium. That's what I was known for, facts and accountability. And then also I think, pausing a moment and all the things that we've been discussing, faith, I plan on bringing a faith voice on pretty much every week. And just reflecting on the values that make our country great and then having a little fun when we can. So Saturday is a great opportunity to make things a little lighter and also at the same time go a little deeper and bring that accountability that sometimes gets lost on the weekdays.
Well, we will certainly be watching. You said 10 p.m. Is that what you said?
10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So you don't have to stay up late. You can still go to dinner with your family.
All right.
But just tune in before you go to the soccer game and go out to your brunch.
And that will be, we're central, so that's 9 a.m. here. So I want to make sure people set their alarms correctly and get up to watch Kayleigh McEnany. Central time, of course. Kayleigh, we are always grateful for you. We love watching everything you're doing. You're becoming Brian Kilmeade, and you're everywhere all the time. So take a breath, and thank you for squeezing us into your very busy schedule. You're always welcome on the show. We're so grateful to have you.
That's so true. I'll be on the 5 this evening, Annie.
There you go.
To that point, and it's always great to join you on the airwaves. I really love your show.
Thank you, Kayleigh. We'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye. That's Kayleigh McEnany. Her new show, Saturday in America, 10 a.m. Eastern, which makes it 9 a.m. our time. So when you're getting up on Saturdays and you want to throw the TV on, you're going to be able to watch Kayleigh, and I'm always grateful for her. Kayleigh McEnany was working with the RNC when I was doing Saturdays. So I started the Annie Fry Show on Saturdays, 2-hour show, Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m., right here on 97.1. And Kayleigh McEnany was one of the spokeswomen, I guess, that would have that the RNC would give us on a Saturday afternoon. And she just, like, you want to talk about climbing the ladder? She, like, rocketed up the ladder. She kicked the ladder down and just went to the highest of high heights. And it's been wonderful to be able to continue that conversation with her for so long. Almost 10 years now. Isn't that amazing? Let's take a break. Get Ryan back in here. There is a press conference taking place at the White House, so we'll tune in and hear what Carolyn Levitt has to say next. Don't go away.
In ecstasy, so don't stop me now.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. When I endorse a product or service on the radio, I take it seriously. I do my research. I did the same when I first met Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty over 5 years ago. Gloria is here in studio today, and I'll ask the same question I asked you when we first met and before you helped me sell my home. Gloria, tell us, what sets you apart from other agents?
Well, number one is my guaranteed offers. I'm so confident that I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay the difference. Number two is I already have the buyers, so your home may already be sold. I literally have thousands of buyers in my Buyers in Waiting program. This is how I'm able to create higher demand, more offers, and that means more money in your pocket.
Friends, get to know Gloria Lou like I have. Upfront written guarantees with the least hassle. Call Gloria Lou right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 5-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com, or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son, Mike. In addition to the comp case, there is a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Okay, our question for you today is, would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk, yes or no? Here's one comment that we got already this morning on the show, or I should say this afternoon, from Vicky. It says, After Erica's speech yesterday, I would say she probably will not want the death penalty. So much more grace and courage and forgiveness than I have right now. What do you think? Let us know yes or no to the death penalty. It's the YouTube live chat poll. Today, it is 12:33. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
What do you think of when you hear the song?
I think of Paul Rudd now.
Why?
Because there's a video of him going around dancing in every show, movie, TV appearance he's ever done to September.
To September? It's not what I thought you would say.
Okay.
I thought you would say Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
That is the second thing I think of.
Is that still your favorite roller coaster?
It's the best ride I've ever been on. Period. Better than any other roller coaster or any other ride ever.
And when are you going again?
Thursday.
This Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I can't wait. Now, I have one family member who has not been on that ride yet. And he is not going on this trip.
It's not your wife.
But no, it's not my wife. Man,
I'm surprised you're still married.
She did not have a good time on that ride. But afterward, like after some dust has been settled, I asked her once, would you ever go again? She said, I might.
Really?
I might.
I don't think I remember that part of the story. Let's get to Carolyn Levitt. She is in the press briefing room. Now, we know that at 3 o'clock today, that's when it's scheduled, folks. It never, ever seems to happen exactly, pinpoint on the dot, on the nose. Mark Reardon will have that announcement for you. The White House is going to be making an announcement that has something to do with autism. And the lead reports going into it suggest that there is a Tylenol or an acetaminophen usage of during pregnancy that has a connection to autism. That's what the lead reports are saying. Of course, at 3 p.m., we'll hear from the White House what they have to say. But let's go to the press briefing and listen to the questions there.
Regarding the autism announcement,
sure.
Why now? Does the administration have new data that hasn't been published previously showing a possible link between acetaminophen and autism?
I know there's been many reports about what this announcement at 4 o'clock will be, Gabe. The president is very excited about this, so I don't want to scoop the president of the United States and our Secretary of Health and Human Services, but what I can assure you is that Robert F. Kennedy and the incredible health team that this president has put together are really viewing things in a much different lens. And they are paying attention to studies and the gold standard of science and research that many in this city for far too long have turned a blind eye to. So I think Americans are going to be enlightened and proud of what they hear later this afternoon, but I won't get ahead of the president on exactly what that announcement entails.
On a different topic, going back to the president's social media post from over the weekend, regarding the DOJ and his seeming frustration that they hadn't taken action quickly enough. I want to point to something that the president said during his inaugural address. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. We will not allow that to happen. Is the president going back on his promise?
No. In fact, the president is fulfilling his promise to restore a Department of Justice that demands accountability. And it is not weaponizing the Department of Justice to demand accountability for those who weaponized the Department of Justice. And nobody knows what that looks like more than President Trump. We are not going to tolerate gaslighting from anyone in the media or from anyone on the other side who is trying to say that it's the president who is weaponizing the DOJ. It was Joe Biden and his attorney general who weaponized the DOJ. Joe Biden used this sacred American institution to go after his political opponent in the middle of an election year. And you look at people like Adam Schiff and like James Comey and like Letitia James, who the president is rightfully frustrated. He wants accountability for these corrupt fraudsters who abused their power, who abused their oath of office to target the former president and then candidate for the highest office in the land. And I think the president is reaffirmed in those frustrations and his hope for accountability by the millions and millions of people who reelected him to this office with a mandate to demand accountability. And the president has not been shy about this, Gabe. In fact, when he traveled to the Department of Justice earlier this year, all of you were there to cover it. He said, quote, "I demand a full and complete accountability for wrongs and abuses that have occurred. The American people gave a mandate to investigate and root the corruption out of our system, and that's what the president wants to see done."
Carolyn.
Ed.
On the autism issue again, there are reams of scientific research that suggests there's no clear link between autism and acetaminophen usage. You're suggesting today they may have new information on this. A lot of it, and this entire debate, has the potential to confuse women, especially pregnant women, about what to do. What do you say to those that say what you're doing today potentially just introduces more confusion into the debate?
I think women for many years, in fact for decades, Ed, have been confused by the rapid increase in autism in this country, in the childhood epidemic, that is chronic epidemic, disease epidemic that is plaguing America's youth. Women are confused about that and they want answers to that. And that's exactly what this administration is focused on finding. And before you jump to conclusions based on reports that the White House has not even confirmed, I would encourage everyone in this room to go into the 4 o'clock announcement with some critical thinking skills and with some open ears to actually listen to what the president and his team of outsiders have to say about this. And there will be a number of things that will be announced and discussed. And I think, I know as a mother myself, I speak, I believe, for many mothers across the country who really want answers to what is happening to our nation's children. So again, I won't get ahead of the president, but I think everyone in this room needs to tone down the judgment before you even hear what people are going to say. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. So two on the Holman investigation. I mean, can you just speak to, did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Holman have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Holman never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Holman did absolutely nothing wrong, and even the President's Department of Justice, even Kash Patel's FBI, looked into this just to make sure. They had a number of different prosecutors and FBI agents who looked into this. They found zero evidence of illegal activity or criminal wrongdoing. And the White House and the President stand by Tom Holman 100% because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he is a brave public servant who has done a phenomenal job in helping the President shut down the border. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions on far-left violence.
Sure.
The first one, the president said yesterday that the bullet hit Charlie, but it was aimed at every one of us. Do you and your colleagues have a heightened sense of fear following this shooting and this far-left violence we're seeing across the country?
I certainly think there's a heightened sense of awareness by conservatives across the country, by all of us here at the White House. Again, as I said to Monica, many of us were personal friends with Charlie and had involvement with Turning Point before we came and served our government in this way. So certainly it's a very shocking incident, and I think, you know, it's very unfortunate that those of us who work in this movement have to think about violence just for speaking our minds and for supporting President Trump.
And as a follow-up on that, I asked the president last night on Air Force One about this pattern of transgender violence we're seeing. You know, Charlie's killer lived with his boyfriend who identifies as transgender, and then we have the Annunciation shooting, the Covenant shooting, all of these incidents. The president said that we're looking into transgender violence. Does that mean the FBI is looking into it? And can you give any more clarity on how the administration is viewing this uptick in specifically transgender violence?
It's definitely something worth looking into, and I think anyone who denies that at this point is being willfully ignorant. And the administration is taking it seriously, all causes of violence, and why these people would be driven to such evil and such hatred. And there's probably many answers to that question, but the administration is really focused on all of them. For individual investigations and cases, of course, the FBI and the Department of Justice are leading those. But as for this overall violence and domestic terrorism that we're seeing, the White House and the President's policy team will be leading the charge, and that really begins with designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. And I can assure you there will be additional actions to come. Sure, in the pink.
Thanks, Caroline. Liz Landers with PBS NewsHour. I just wanted to follow up quickly on something that the president had said yesterday. So we heard from Erica Kirk. She said she forgives the man who shot and killed her husband. And then right after that, we heard from the president who said, I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them. How does that square with bringing down the temperature of political violence in this country? And then, if I could, I had a follow-up on Venezuela, too.
Look, the president is authentically himself. I think that's why millions of Americans across the country love him and support him, including Erica Kirk, who you saw so beautifully was on stage with the president in an unthinkable moment, in the midst of an unthinkable tragedy, and was leaning on the president for support during that time. And he was there to give it to her, as well as the vice president and many other top-ranking cabinet officials. Kayla.
Thanks, Caroline. On TikTok, the deal. How much is the deal? And if you can't give an exact number to how much the deal is, when can we expect to learn how much the deal is being valued at? And then separately, who are the members involved in the deal? Like, can you share any more details there?
So I don't have a specific number for you, nor am I going to confirm the specific individuals and entities in the deal, Kayla, but I do have several details I'm happy to run through for all of you, and the president will be signing the deal, the official deal, later this week at some point. Under the terms of this deal, TikTok will be owned by a majority of American investors and controlled by a board of directors with extensive national security and cybersecurity credentials. In partnership with the U.S. government, Oracle will serve as TikTok's trusted security provider, and they will independently monitor the safety and data security of all U.S. user data on TikTok's platform. Americans' data will be stored securely in the United States without access from China. All U.S. user data will be stored on servers operated by Oracle in the United States, protected from surveillance or interference by foreign adversaries. And the algorithm, I know this is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control. And TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa. While I don't have a number on the specific deal, we do expect that thanks to the president's leadership and the securement of this historic deal, businesses using TikTok will generate as much as $178 billion in economic activity within the U.S. over the next 4 years. So this is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use this very fun app. But it's also great news for all of the small business owners who have really been able to make a living off of the use of TikTok as well.
And if I could just get one more as it relates to China, on crop prices with farmers, as there's still no official trade deal with China, farmers are getting a little bit antsy, navigating, prices being weak and not strong. How is the administration, thinking about farmers right now? Is there anything we can expect to see from the administration on, sort of bailing farmers out should prices continue to not work in their favor?
Well, the administration is completely understands the anxiety of farmers. We're very much aware of this issue. It has been a part of our discussions, the trade team's discussions with their Chinese counterparts. As for any specific actions, I don't have any news on that for you today, but I can fully assure you the entire National Economic Council in this building, as well as our Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, have been talking with the trade team about this. There's been many meetings on this, and they are on the ball, but I don't have anything specific for you today. Sure, Selena.
Thanks, Caroline. But the case against Letitia James was extensively investigated for 5 months, and President Trump's handpicked Attorney General Eric Siebert could not find any evidence that he committed a crime. So is the president saying here it doesn't matter if there's a crime, he just wants his political enemies to be charged?
Well, let me just walk you through Letitia James. Letitia James completely abused her oath of office. Letitia James was actively and openly engaged in lawfare. You talk about weaponizing the Department of Justice. What was Letitia James's campaign slogan? It was prosecute Donald Trump. She was saying she was going to prosecute Donald Trump before she even knew if Donald Trump committed a crime, which of course we did not. Those are not the words of a serious prosecutor. Those are the words of a corrupt politician who is abusing their power. She actively campaigned on that. She also led the witch hunt, the financial fraud investigation against President Trump and the Trump Organization, and an appeals court tossed that case out, a $500 million civil fraud penalty in August, which was another win for the president and exonerated him of this witch hunt and showed that this is an individual who is corrupt and abused her oath of office. And we also have evidence of her mortgage fraud. An April report from a white-collar fraud investigator found that there was documented evidence that James engaged in a consistent pattern of financial and property disclosures that raise serious legal questions.
But why won't the president accept the conclusions of his Justice Department to not bring charges against Letitia James? In fact, you had Bondi and Blanche top DOJ leadership who were against ousting Eric Siebert, who again was picked by President Trump.
I just answered that question for you, and the president has every right to express how he feels about these people who literally campaigned on trying to put him in jail, who literally tried to ruin his life and ruin his businesses, and he wants to see accountability for those who abuse their office and abuse their power. And Letitia James absolutely did that, whether you want to admit it or not.
Carolyn Levitt from the White House answering questions from the press. Some interesting ones in there. I think the highlight of what I would call out there was regarding the autism announcement that's coming at 3 p.m. today, which you'll want to keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Mark Rudin will be covering that for sure. She said she said that the White House has not confirmed the reports that are out there right now, which I just said. The Axios, I know, was the one that I read, reported that the White House was going to announce that it said Tylenol, but Tylenol is the Kleenex to tissues. Acetaminophen is the drug that is in Tylenol. Axios said Tylenol, while taken during pregnancy, increases the odds, I think is the way it was reported, for autism. Non-confirmed, Axios report. We will find out at 3 o'clock. But we just heard Carolyn Levitt there say, don't just scoop up everything that you've heard reported so far. We have not verified those stories. All right, a quick break. Ryan Wiggins is going to give us the weekend roundup, the Monday roundup, I should say, in Wiggins America next. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Please call 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636, and reach out to Matt Hayes. Matt's a great guy. I had breakfast with them a month or two ago, and we sat down and I learned about how they put together Home Shield Foundation Repair, how long they've been working in this business, and how they saw an opportunity to serve the people of this area, Illinois and Missouri alike, how to serve them properly with respect. And they saw a lane and they took it. And I'm so glad that they did, because the simple problems that you might have with your foundation, cracks in the concrete, cracks in your sidewalks, maybe in your garage foundation, that is a bigger problem than certainly like, I don't want to trip when I'm walking around my pool deck, that type of thing. When you call 314-227-9636, Matt Hayes is going to answer the phone. You're going to invite him out. He's going to look at the situation that you have, that uneven concrete that's a liability, and he's going to tell you how he can fix it. And it comes with a 5-year warranty as well. 314-227-9636, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
97.1 FM Talk welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghost of Christmas Eve, at the Enterprise Center on December 23rd. A portion of the proceeds benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgeier of Fira Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Smart talk, strong values. This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Wiggins. Oh! Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Going to Disney this week.
That's right. Yeah, I'm leaving Thursday, and I ain't coming back.
I'm still connected to you on the Disney World app from when we went as a show in May, so I'm going to change some of your plans.
No, don't do that. I have very good plans. You know how much time goes into that?
I do.
A lot.
I do.
We are very, very strategically planned going into this, me and my daughter. All right, this is what you
My
missed.
dad would like you to say my daughter and I, but go on.
Nope, I won't do that. It was me and my daughter.
It's for you, Chuck.
Nope, sorry, Chuck. Luigi Mangione update.
This is a great way to check and see if my dad's listening to his daughter's show.
He'll text.
He will.
Yeah.
He would have texted me anyway to correct you, but that would have been quiet. I made this public.
Chuck, your daughter and thee. Is that right? Let me know. All right, Luigi Mangione update in light of all of this news about Charlie Kirk. It's really amazing to even think back to this guy is also an assassin.
This is a way wilder story than anybody has given attention to.
Yes. His defense. Now, by the way, real quick, this is above my pay grade, but it looks like they're not going to be able to get him on a terrorism charge, which they were trying, or first-degree murder, because the laws in New York are written such that it's very hard to get first-degree murder
Maybe
charges.
they can get him for mortgage fraud.
That's probably also pretty tough. But it looks like they might have to do second-degree murder for him.
Wow.
Then again, that is beyond my pay grade as to why.
Hunted him down. He knew where he would be, when he would be there, and he shot him in broad daylight while he was walking into his hotel.
They have letters, they have video, they have everything you'd possibly need, and they can't get him on first degree. It's what it looks like right now.
New York is screwed.
It is so messed up.
Yeah.
It's so messed up. But anyway, the defense has come out in defense of Luigi Mangione, saying that you can't seek the death penalty for him because that would be based on politics. You can't do it because it's based on politics.
This is the same district that convicted Donald Trump.
I don't know how the boroughs work, whether this is the same district or not. It's Manhattan, I believe.
Same attorney general.
That's definitely true. We were just
Letitia.
listening to her.
Which is what I'm going to call her from now on.
In the press conference with Carolyn Levitt. But the
Tish. I think one of our guests calls her Tish. I do not think it's out of respect.
potential jurors were imprinted with a scene out of a Marvel movie, with dozens of agents needed to protect the public from the shackled monster Mangione, is what they said. Remember when we saw him walked across that pier at night?
Yeah.
They said, well, this was like a staged movie scene. And for some reason, that spoils the jury pool. Not sure exactly
it's like
why.
Whiplash.
It says the accused killer, listen to this before we move on. The accused killer's quote from the defense, beautiful, promising life has been derailed by the murder allegations. How bold do you have to be?
Man.
I don't feel like I can live in this reality. I don't know how to do my job and talk to people every day when lunatics are living in that reality. I can't argue with that because it's so far off.
Yeah, there's no basis for discussion.
No. What?
The accused killer's beautiful, promising life has been derailed by the murder allegations.
He's not even attractive, and I'm going to say it.
Hang on. Citing his intellect and his character and his large, close, loving family. He's now fighting for his life against a government that seeks to execute him.
Well, just wait, because that's going to be the same story that we hear from some people on the left.
Oh, don't even get me started.
With Tyler Robinson. All right, let's talk a little bit more about it when we come back. Go vote in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Infinite-Vitality.com. Reach out to these people and help restore your life back to that energy-filled way of living that you remember. And it's not that far past in your memory. You're still kind of mourning the loss of the ability to get through the day without the brain fog, the fatigue, the ick. Like, everything is so hard. Everything is so difficult. And it makes you crabby. It makes you grouchy. You kind of have that like out of body experience where you're like, gosh, I am just being a certain type of way right now. I wish I weren't like this, but seriously, somebody help me. The people that can help you are at Infinite Vitality. They can help you restore that energy. They can help you with weight loss and GLP-1s. They can help you reverse the sign of aging in your skin. All you got to do is call 618-486-1888. 618-486-1888. It's a phone call worth making. It's a drive worth taking. Infinite Vitality in Glen Carbon is ready to get you your vitality back. Trust me on this. Go learn more at infinite-vitality.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Reassurance from the White House. Lisa Brady, Fox News, ahead of an autism announcement coming later today from the president and health secretary.
Robert F. Kennedy and the incredible health team that this president has put together are really viewing things in a much different lens. And they are paying attention to studies and the gold standard of science and research that many in this city for far too long have turned a blind eye to.
Spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt also emphasizing that the White House has not confirmed reports that the announcement is about a possible link between autism and use of Tylenol during pregnancy. Leavitt also says action is coming soon to address what the White House calls growing left-wing political violence.
Everyone, Republican, Democrat, everyone in between, we all deserve to live in a country where we do not have to fear for our lives simply for stating what we believe in.
She says the president will sign an order designating Antifa as a terrorist organization as soon as today, also reiterating his pledge to go after funding sources. Democrats have accused the Trump administration of attacking First Amendment rights. The White House press secretary also just announcing the president plans to sign a TikTok deal later this week, setting up a majority of American investors for the platform, with Oracle serving as security provider, storing U.S. user data on servers in the U.S., protected from surveillance or interference from foreign adversaries.
And the algorithm, I know this is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control.
ByteDance is the Chinese owner of TikTok currently. TikTok has to divest or face a U.S. ban under a law passed by Congress over concerns about national security and data privacy. The White House not confirming a price tag for the U.S. investors in the deal that's being finalized. America is listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. bring the boom. X-Boom.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Let's keep the unsettled weather pattern going, but there's a lot of hope for this upcoming weekend. Periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms around going through the afternoon, not raining all the time, 81. Tonight, clouds, some scattered showers and thunderstorms, 66. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid to upper 70s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new furnace, get Carrier Cool Cash rebates and 0% financing so you'll be nice and cozy as the weather turns. For a free estimate on a new heating system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Monday. I have big news. In exactly 15 minutes, it is officially the start of autumn.
Really?
Yeah, 119 today.
119 today. How
It's
about
also
that?
my mom's birthday, who also appreciates good grammar.
In 15 minutes?
Maybe.
Was exactly when she was born?
Yes. Her mother waited for fall.
How neat.
I don't think that's how it worked.
I understand that women can do that, though.
I have a new question for tomorrow for X's and Y's.
Which is what? Just ask you right now.
Can you do that?
Can you decide when you have a baby?
Yeah, to an extent.
Exactly back before C-sections?
To an extent, sure.
Really?
Well, I mean, probably within the amount of maybe minutes, you can push. I'll give you an example.
Please.
Since you brought it up. Now, I've had 4 babies. Molly, my last one, when we checked into the hospital on June 10th, that's her birthday, I think we got there before 6 a.m. to get everything all set up or whatever. Not to get too far into the situation. I was 39 weeks in like 5 days or whatever. You cannot be induced before 39 weeks because of really important medical reasons, like the insurance won't cover it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the case. And I kept saying to my doctor, this is a big freaking baby. This is a large baby. There's no room. Like, I don't even understand the biology of what's taking place right here. And they're like, well, it'll be fine. So the baby was measuring big. She turned out to be 9 pounds, 15 ounces, folks. That's a big baby. I got there before 6 a.m., got everything set up, was dilated, so she was coming at some point or another. But then you get all hooked up to the whatever. 4th baby. When the doctor saw me for the first time, which might have been in like the 9 a.m. hour, it's probably when he got there to work. He came down, he'd be like, it'd be really great if you could have this baby in the noon hour on my lunch so that I can make sure that I'm here. And I was like, okay. So things are progressing. We get to the noon hour, get into the 12 o'clock hour, and about 12:15, fully dilated, ready to go. And they're like, I think you're ready to push. Let's call the doctor, get the doctor down here. That's how the doctor does it. The nurses do a lot of the work. And the doctor, who has the medical expertise, and I love my OBGYN, they're like, we're going to call him. Let's start pushing by the time he gets here. Because you figure it's going to take a while. How long did Katie push?
It started at like 10 p.m. I think it was.
It was really inconvenient for you because you wanted it during the day.
Yeah, because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be so tired. I think it ended up being like at 8 in the morning, so not quite. It's like 10 hours ish.
Did she push that long?
Oh no. God.
45 minutes, hour?
Yeah, an hour probably. I don't know. I was pretty tired. It's hard to remember.
12:15. All right, let's push and see how it goes. Okay, I push once. They're like, stop! Stop! Hold it. And I had to wait for the doctor to get here, push one more time. Molly was born.
So you got a window there where you have some control.
I think I'd have to confirm with Jared because I wasn't like just sitting there watching the tick-tock of the clock. But I think that I waited maybe 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay. That's a little bit.
So
more than I thought even you would have control. I thought it was just like, no.
But also,
nothing you can
if
do.
you were with my son, I pushed for 45 minutes. He was my firstborn. That situation, I was maybe dilated like 7 to 8 centimeters. I almost said inches. Wild. I can assure you there'd be no more babies after that. Jared would be like, I'm out.
Oh, man.
7 or 8 inches.
7 or 8 inches.
Centimeters.
I can't do this.
And I had been there for 12 hours. I was so hungry because you can't eat anything. And I was like, give me something.
You can't eat?
No. What if you have to go to surgery?
Yeah.
So you can't eat anything. You can drink clear liquids.
Okay.
So I was like, I need something. I'm starting to feel kind of that nauseous feeling that you get if you get super hungry because I hadn't eaten in, almost a full day at that point. And I was sitting kind of back in my bed and this little cup with a straw of Sprite in it. And I took a sip and I aspirated it. And so I choked and coughed and pushed Charlie into the birth canal.
Whoa.
And so I went from like 7 to 8 centimeters to it's time to push immediately because and while this was all happening, I was still choking. And then I pushed for 45 minutes and he was born.
Wow. All because of a
Sprite.
Crisp, refreshing Sprite.
There's a little more involved in that, but yeah.
Well, I'll just remember that part. For the future, I think it's going to be a great reference.
I don't know how that
show.
would work, but
Not sure yet either, but we're going to work Sprite into giving birth.
you know, all of this talk about babies and everything and the message behind Charlie Kirk says, what is like, I don't remember the list of it. Maybe Brad, you remember it, but like start a family, find somebody, get married, start a family, build a legacy, pass it down. I'm not going to do every show that we do on Charlie Kirk for 3 hours, but there is so much that we are now living in a pre Charlie Kirk death and post Charlie Kirk death world. And can you not look at everything that the cultural right is talking about right now? Like, doesn't it look happy? What the right is pushing, like what the right is suggesting is the way to go, the way to be, the way to live, compared to why would anybody look at the comparison of these two, what the right is offering culturally and what the left is offering culturally? Like, why would you run to the left? What do they have to offer? I mean, what they have, in my opinion, what the left culturally, I'm not talking politically, I'm talking culturally, what the activist left has to offer, the loudest voices, the influencers on the left, what they have to offer is immediate gratification that is so fleeting that you need the next immediate gratification immediately in order to sustain the hit and the high of that type of lifestyle.
Culture and spirituality are crossing into politics in a way that I've never seen before. And I love it. I think it needs to happen because a lot of the arguments that we make about politics come from a deeper place. Mm-hmm. And so seeing these things happen, what you're saying though about it being, I think the word I would use is hopeful. It's more hopeful, a little deeper, that you're looking to something that's beyond just immediate gratification. It's funny because I do think all of that does apply to the right, if you want to put it that way. But it's almost like in spite of Trump, because he is such a fighter and he's just ready to rumble all the time.
He was at the memorial. Mm-hmm. He did not bring the gospel to the memorial. I also don't think he needed to, but he didn't.
And so he being kind of the torchbearer right now for the Republican Party is odd because I don't think it's like the rest of this exists in a bubble around him because he's not that, but he is at the center of it.
And he's there because of the cultural right.
Yes.
They chose him.
It's a strange place to be. Because you could make the argument that all the things we're talking about, well, that doesn't apply because Donald Trump. And you'd have to go, well, I kind of agree. Donald Trump isn't that. But it's like he's walked in and just started swinging and bulldozing and created the space for that. I
think that somebody here, I'm going to read Andy's comment. I don't really like the far left's offer. And Andy is a frequent commenter on our YouTube channel, and he is of the left, which is absolutely fine and welcome. He said, I don't really like the far left's offer, but I'm also not interested in the Christian nationalism out of the right. The phrase Christian nationalism is being that is a bold-faced vocab word coming out of the Charlie Kirk assassination, this moment right now. Like, maybe it would have been talked about beforehand, but now it is the aggressive label, in my opinion, and out of due respect to Andy, who I appreciate, who comes on and chats from the left on our show chat. But I think that for people who are not Christians, who are not God-fearing people, that they sense the unifying power that exists behind whatever that was. You can call it Christian nationalism, I guess. I don't hear the phrase Christian nationalism and immediately associate it with like terrorist organization, but the Biden administration did. Mm-hmm. So that's already in play. We already see somebody at the highest level, Biden or whoever was running that administration, we have yet to determine. We already know that those people look at the unification of Christians as a great threat to whatever it is that they feel they represent. So is it politics? Is it political power that they fear? If I'm trying to not be inflammatory and if I'm trying to be respectful to Andy, who is, essentially on our chat every day to prove me wrong, which is fine. We appreciate Andy. Andy has shown up at events that we've had and donated to the charity causes that we, like food drives, diaper drives, or whatever. We appreciate Andy, and I want him to stay. But there is a difference between a religious spiritual battle that is taking place and a red-blue political battle that is taking place. And in the essence of knowing that both of those things are going to be power struggles, the power struggle of the Christian or religious or faith-based struggle is as old as time. That is not a new thing. Good and evil, you could talk about, I really do believe you could talk about good and evil in an a-religious sense. I think you don't have to have a religious morality to understand that murdering people is bad. Now, I derive my morality from the Bible, and most of civilized society morality is derived from the Ten Commandments, just as a general rule of thumb of law. And you don't have to necessarily believe in God or a higher power to go through the Ten Commandments, and at least for probably 6 or 7 of them, be like, those are good rules to live by. We would have a more civilized society if we all agreed that the 10 Commandments, or maybe 7 of the Commandments, if you want to take out the first 3 that generally speak about keeping the Sabbath and honoring God and not defaming him. The 10 Commandments are a guidepost for us to understand what morality is within and without ascribing ourselves to some sort of religious affiliation. When I hear people say the words Christian nationalism, if I were talking to them one-on-one, I would want to know from them, are you afraid may be the wrong word? Are you concerned? And I'm trying to say this out of the utmost respect to anybody who's listening to the show who is like Andy, who maybe doesn't love everything, because he said he doesn't love what's coming out of the extreme far activist left. But Christian nationalism is a concern to him. Are you concerned, when you say Christian nationalism, are you saying that in a way that is concerned for the religious implications on culture and society? Or are you worried that it's going to rally a bunch of troops and Democrats are going to lose office? Because those are very, very distinctly different things. Christian nationalism, I mean, if I wanted to use that as a pejorative, where I would place that is with people who are appropriating a Christian faith for clicks, for views, for reach, for some sort of power in a way that was disingenuous and truly blasphemous in that regard, to try to appropriate some sort of Christian belief to who you are so that you can gain some earthly secular power, be it from influencer dollars that you make or from votes. Like and I think that the 3 of us would probably agree that you can immediately identify when someone is faking the Christian thing.
Oh yeah.
It's not even worth trying, folks, because the people out there who do prioritize their Christian faith, and a lot of them vote Republican, will be able to tell immediately if you're using them. That's, to me, where a pejorative of Christian nationalism could come in, where someone's like, well, I'm gonna make sure that we get the Christians in there, and I'm gonna use that for my political gain. That's not gonna end well for anybody. And it's important for Christians to call that out every time they see it. But I also don't think there's anything wrong with people from a secular standpoint. The Bible talks over and over and over about government structures and earthly law and order and justice. That if we see people who are in high prominence of political, earthly, governmental power, that they also, too, can have Christian beliefs and speak on them. And I think with our own intellectual brain cells, a couple that we can rub together there, that we can identify which is an actual foundational element of who those individuals are as people and who's using it. That's where Christian nationalism, to me, can be defined, but also can be jockeyed back and forth.
Yeah.
To a place where it can be used or it can be implemented. I don't think that it is inherently a bad thing.
I don't either. I was going to say the same thing, that I don't necessarily think that the term is bad, but you can tell when people are using it as an attack on Christianity.
Happy autumn.
Because, dang it.
Go on.
You can tell when they're using it as an attack on Christianity itself, because basically what they're trying to do is say, I'm okay with your Christianity, but as long as you keep it in a box over there
that they get to define,
that I can kind of wrap up and keep it in over here, then it doesn't affect anything. You basically neuter Christianity so much that it's not Christianity.
That's freedom from religion, not freedom of religion. And freedom from religion is a made-up thing.
And so if you're actually being a Christian, Christian nationalism is a natural outworking, because all of it, everything you believe, affects everything you do, including politics. Shouldn't be the first thing, but it should affect everything. It's your whole worldview.
Let's take a break. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Reading some of the comments here, I had to read this one. Joe says, Ryan is wearing the exact outfit Steve Martin was wearing to coach Little League in Parenthood.
That's cool, dude. Joe, I can be all right with that.
All right. Answer the YouTube live chat poll. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
When I can't feel a thing, you say I am strong. When I think I'm weak.
CiviaLaw.com. Please consider hiring Todd Civia and his amazing team to get that estate plan taken care of. It's been mulling about your brain, and you have known that you need to do this, but you just haven't made that phone call yet. This is the time to make that phone call. Why? Because it's going to save you $300 if you call right now. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. Todd Civia is going to waive the fee for the strategy session when you book a sit-down conversation with him to discuss your will, your trust, your powers of attorney, what happens in an untimely death of you, of your spouse. Maybe it's something that you want to do and you want to bring your parents along if they haven't maybe revisited a will that they put together a long time ago. You need to have these conversations, and once you do, the peace of mind sets in very quickly. You don't have to worry about it anymore because it's taken care of. You can trust Todd Civia. We did in our family. 833-995-WILL. Call him and tell him Annie sent you, and you'll get that strategy session fee waived. But you got to be the first 10 callers right now. 833-995-WILL. CiviaLaw.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgaier of Fire Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning, and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Got me going out my mind. Dallas dropped another game in overtime. Caught a ticket speeding down to 65.
The rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So if there was any way that I was going to honor somebody who decided that they were just going to negatively talk about me and proclaim that I was somehow involved in the great white replacement, yeah, I'm not honoring that kind of stuff. The rhetoric.
So there's Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Texas Congresswoman, of course, Ladue fancy school graduate. Nothing wrong with that school, but what is wrong with her? You got to ask yourself that question. Talking about how she would not be a party to honoring Charlie Kirk. I think we could potentially give too much oxygen to the likes of people like Jasmine Crockett. I would say that when stuff like this comes up in the media, it's just red meat for conservative talk radio, isn't it?
Yes. In fact, it's almost like she's doing it for conservative talk radio.
Yeah, I bet you there are more conservatives who know who she is than Democrats.
That's possible. Because she doesn't really, if you're a Democrat and you're an intellectual Democrat, she's not speaking like the points that you're trying to make.
She's a flamethrower, and she's throwing flames our way so that we'll platform her.
Yes.
So I am opposed to that. And there's a part of me who sometimes feels like it might be malpractice for me to be in a position where I'm talking about these types of things and just skipping over the Jasmine Crockett's and the AOC's and the View. It was really difficult, but I was inclined to skip over Kamala Harris as well because she kind of felt like she was of that camp to begin with. It's difficult to skip over that in a moment right now because I think that if the Democrat Party isn't going to step into this moment and speak over her, then she's speaking for them. So the silence can be deafening. And when Jasmine Crockett is in a position to speak so specifically about this type of thing, I'm just waiting for somebody with cooler head to prevail to just say something a little less inflammatory. But we haven't seen it yet. Let's get to our guest. Chad Pergram joins us now, senior congressional correspondent for Fox News. It's such an honor to always be able to have Chad update us on these types of events. Chad, thank you for being with us today. It's good to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What can you tell us about the goings-on Capitol Hill, specifically in the House? They tried to acknowledge Charlie Kirk, and it just didn't seem like it was as easy as it should have been.
Yeah, well, they certainly voted to do so. They voted to honor him. More than 300 members. That's a wide swath of people voted to honor him. But usually when we have these types of votes, especially after somebody who's been shot, assassinated, murdered, people from both sides vote yes. You certainly saw that back in June after the two Minnesota state lawmakers who were assassinated. The House voted 424 to nothing to honor them. Well, Kirk was a little bit of a different story here. I mean, if you put together the Democrats who voted no, 58, the Democrats who voted present, 38, and the 22 Democrats who did not vote at all, that gets you to 55% of the House Democratic caucus who did not vote in favor of honoring Charlie Kirk. And, Tom Emmer, the majority whip from Minnesota, he said he was dumbfounded by this. He said this should just be a layup. Steve Scalise, the majority leader, he said, this kind of shows you where the left is. And you've had people who have been outspoken. I thought it was notable that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, sometimes lays a little bit low, but has been a little more energized of late. People have speculated maybe she wants to run for president, maybe she wants to challenge Chuck Schumer for the Senate, or if he steps aside or steps down, and we can talk about government funding and her position, kind of the internecine politics in the Democratic Party about that in a moment. But she took to the floor after the vote and explained her position. She thought that the shooting was horrific, thought it was terrible, spoke about Kirk's widow and his children, but said, we don't think that he should have been honored, and here's why. She cited Jim Crow comments from her perspective, bigotry. I mean, she had a whole laundry list of things. And you mentioned Jasmine Crockett, and she had kind of done the same thing. She says, look, I'm a civil rights lawyer, and he did not advocate on behalf of civil rights, and I'm not going to vote on somebody, to honor somebody like that. Some Democrats would say to you privately that they thought this was a trap. They were kind of being backed into this. I don't know that that's the case, but you have to take an up or down vote. And sometimes I should note that Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, he voted yes. He voted to honor Charlie Kirk. And there were many other top, flight Democrats who did so. But some took issue with the nature of the resolution or how it was written, or the idea that it was honoring somebody and citing things that they just did not believe were true about him. And sometimes in Congress, and hear this the right way, you have a vote like that that's set up, and maybe it is a trap laid by the other side, maybe it's not. But sometimes, it's not a bill that's going to the president's desk or something, You just kind of slickly go along and vote yes, and then everybody forgets about it because you're like, you know what? If say you had a handful of people that voted no, not 58. Say you had a handful, that stands out more than everybody else. So sometimes you're like, okay, I'll just vote, and then people will leave me alone, even if you don't feel that. I mean, hey, you are elected to take these votes like this, and sometimes you want to be out there and take a tough vote and say, this is why I voted no, or oppose that. Or I'm one of the few people who voted yes. And sometimes you're like, you know what? We need to lower the temperature in this time of crisis. We've had an assassination. Let's just try to calm things down. Let's honor him and go on to something else. We have to fund the government, for instance.
Yeah, certainly. Either way that they would vote on that, they would be accountable to their constituents, and it's their constituents' responsibility to be educated to say, I support what you did there. I absolutely don't support what you did there on that particular vote. And
if I can interject there, not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but that is the flip side of this. If you think about the district that, say, Crockett or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez represents, these are left-leaning districts. Okay, no surprise there. And that may very well be the position, even though some people might find it offensive, of the people in their district. And if they were to vote the other way on that, there's some other members who might be able to get away with this more so than others, if you get what I'm saying here. Sure. But you represent a hard left district like that, where many of their constituents might have found, for right or wrong, Charlie Kirk to be radioactive. Then, there would be something to pay back home if they voted to honor him. Mm. So, I do think members generally vote their districts. You might not like it, but that might be where their districts are.
Yeah, certainly that is the nature of the House of Representatives, and each of those representatives to be accountable to those specific districts. Mm-hmm. Let's move over to the Senate a little bit. You have a very, very good viewpoint of how these bodies function differently from one another. John Fetterman has come out, a senator from Pennsylvania, Democrat. And I think the tweet off the top of my head that he posted this weekend was like, let's take the day off and let the people who love Charlie Kirk mourn. He's been a little bit of what I would consider to be a voice of reason. Is that your understanding of the sentiment? Are there two camps in the Democrat Party right now surrounding Charlie Kirk, bringing the temperature down, how to approach what comes next?
And again, look at somebody like Fetterman, somebody who represents a swing state. It's a state that he represents that, he was considered to be hard left and maybe, a progressive some time ago. He has ditched the party on a number of issues. And if you think maybe where the state of Pennsylvania is, I was talking about a a narrow congressional district in New York City versus a sprawling state like Pennsylvania, well, President Trump carried. Maybe that's kind of where the people were on that. If you're John Fetterman, even if you might disagree, he didn't imply that he disagreed. But that's why he's been willing to buck his party on a number of things, be it that or maybe funding the government. He said on Friday, he said, well, he said, I'm voting for funding the government. He said, because even if you thought that the conspiracy here was to have, if you listen to the furthest left wing reaches of the Democratic Party, that, the autocrats are going to take over, why would you vote to shut the government so they would have control, is basically what he said. He said, I'm for avoiding a government shutdown, even if that's not the premise necessarily. So he does kind of take a different marching order. I think it just comes from John Fetterman. He's not always a reliable Democratic vote. There's always some folks like that. Rand Paul of Kentucky, you never quite know on certain issues, certainly libertarian issues. He was outspoken against the FCC chairman. He did not vote for the funding bill the other day. He's probably with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on vaccines. You see how you can kind of hopscotch around there on a number of different issues. And Nancy Pelosi years ago, when she was Speaker of the House, she described politics, especially internal politics in a party, as being like a kaleidoscope. And and you're rotating like that tube you have. And so it's constantly changing. And she said the person who might be your enemy today or be opposed to your issue today maybe is your ally tomorrow. And because that's constantly changing and morphing and altering depending on the issue. And I think that's very reflective of where we are on those issues. But the one thing, and you said it a moment ago, Annie, they cannot lower the temperature very well here. They could, but there's no thermostat in Congress. There are thermometers, and they are all thermometers of their district, of their states. And unless they take an ardent approach to say, we are going to cut the rhetoric, we're going to cut the white hot, yelling at each other. There was things that Ilhan Omar said or retweeted about Charlie Kirk, and then Nancy Mace of South Carolina tried to sanction her, and so on and so forth. They, if they would just, on both sides, back that off. But guess what? They never do this. They didn't do this. I can give you chapter and verse since the late 1990s. If they weren't going to do that after January 6th, if they weren't going to do that after Steve Scalise was shot, if they weren't going to do that after 9/11, if they weren't going to do that after Gabrielle Giffords was shot, then guess what? They're not going to do it.
Chad Pergram speaking with us right now, the senior congressional correspondent for Fox News. I mean, what I hear you say, which should be empowering for our listeners here in the St. Louis bi-state region in Missouri and southern Illinois, is that if anything is going to change, it's going to have to come from the actual districts that these people represent, the states that they represent in the Senate. I've heard people talk about John Fetterman and he's going to switch parties. He's been pretty adamant. I'm not switching parties. He just disagrees with the Democrat Party from time to time.
Yes, Israel, a few other issues. Absolutely, yeah. And both parties always have somebody like that who stands out. Thomas Massey of Kentucky on the Republican side. He's somebody who's like that. You had Zell Miller, who was the senator from Georgia, had been governor of Georgia, spoke at the Republican convention. You had Joseph Lieberman of Connecticut, who died about a year and a half ago or so, lost the Democratic primary and won as an independent. You have Lisa Murkowski, who routinely bucks her party on a lot of things, is not very pleased with some of these spending cuts and things as they pertain to Alaska. I think that's just natural. That's always the challenge. And you know why it is underscored more right now? It's a little bit different in the Senate because this is not that strange a majority, 53-47, that you have in the Senate for the Republicans right now, because it's all about the math. Somebody told me that one time, Annie. It's all about the math. But we have had for quite a while now, several different cycles, a really narrow margin in the House. And usually you had cushion in the House. And so those people who voted no, it didn't stand out as much. But now you need every single vote. And so that accentuates these differences, these internal differences in both parties, more so in the House than the Senate, though.
Well, Chad Pergram speaking with us right now. Since we've set the table and taken the temperature from the outside, not being able to cool it down, how in the world do we get a budget passed at this point? How is that going to happen?
to avoid a government shutdown. And to be clear, a budget is different than avoiding a government shutdown. Sure. A budget is where the president sends a resolution to Congress and says, this is what we propose spending. And budgets don't become law. These are appropriations. What they have to do is they have to fund the 12 areas of the government by next Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. That's September 30th, or the government shuts down. This might be as bad a one as I've seen in a while. And I don't know for sure if the government's going to shut down, because we always get to this point in the year and you don't quite have a way out of this cul-de-sac. I don't see that yet. But there are some operational things that are very different this time. The House is gone, period. In fact, the House was supposed to come back early next week. And they, cut that off their calendar. They said, we're going to come back the week of October 7th. They passed their bill to fund the government, just to reopen the government, keep the government open at the current spending levels. These are the old Biden-era spending levels, which some Republicans embrace because you're not adding more money. So even though it's a Biden-era spending level, de facto it's a cut, if you follow me there. Sure. So that's part of it. And then so they passed their bill, sent it to the Senate. The Senate blew up both the House Republican bill and the Democratic bill. And I should note that the Senate Republican bill, or the House Republican bill in the Senate, didn't even get a majority over there. There were a lot of absences and everything else. So read into that what you want. But the Senate is not back until next Monday. You don't have enough track to work this out unless they get an agreement now behind the scenes. Bring the Senate back on Wednesday, Thursday. They won't do it Wednesday because Rosh Hashanah begins at sundown tonight and runs through Wednesday night, sundown. That's why they're out of session right now. Come back over the weekend. You could do that. You still got to get some agreements. But right now, I mean, this is as bad as we have seen it ever in recent years, since the government shut down, the lengthy one in 2018 into 2019, because of just the operational things. You can't, if they ain't here, they can't pass a bill. And they demonstrated that they could not pass a bill in the Senate to sync up with the House, and the House is making it a take it or leave it proposition.
Is there a party that's going to be able to make more political hay over a shutdown?
You know what? Every time we have a government shutdown, the other party, the party who feels like it's the other one that's really shutting them down, they always say, oh, they're going to pay. I have never seen any political repercussions of a government shutdown. You have them in the macro sense. And this happened to Newt Gingrich and the Republicans in the mid-'90s, is that Bill Clinton kind of won those government shutdown fights with Newt Gingrich when he was Speaker. And they viewed it as the Republicans it was chaotic. You certainly saw that maybe in a few other, Ted Cruz and the government shutdown over Obamacare in 2013. But nobody goes to the polls and says, I'm going to pull the lever the other direction because they shut down the government. And so this brings me back to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because Chuck Schumer, what his decision was in March was to provide votes on the Democratic side of the aisle, because you got to get 60 votes to overcome a filibuster. Okay, in this case, you're going to have to do it twice. He provided the votes because he thought that shutting down the government in March, when they were dealing with Doge and Elon Musk, that would create more problems. Now, Schumer was criticized, as much criticism as I have ever seen heaped on him, because he got nothing out of the deal. And so now people are saying, is he the right man for the job? And this is the whole thing on the Democratic side of the aisle, that they have to show to their base that they're, quote, fighting, whatever they deem as fighting enough. And so maybe secretly, maybe they kind of want a government shutdown too, frankly. You don't really have two sides that are willing to engage right now. Yeah. And because of the internal politics that Schumer and the Democratic Party is wrestling with, that doesn't make it convenient for them or really an opportunity, something they want to engage in.
It seems like chaos is congressional currency these days. To think that chaos used to be the thing that you wanted to avoid, I don't know what we would do if things were in order. It just doesn't seem like that's the way that Congress
They do
functions.
Chaos really well here. They really do. I mean, I remember the first day they came back after the recess. They had this lengthy recess in August and into second day of September, and I came home that night and I was exhausted. And I said to somebody, the last 2 or 3 hours that I was here was utter mayhem. And I said, yeah, because the only thing they do well is chaos sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Chad Pergram, you are so wonderful at bringing it into a place where we can all come to a focus on what they're doing. And we're always grateful that you're able to fit us into your schedule. Thank you for being with us again today.
My pleasure.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Chad Pergram, the senior congressional correspondent for Fox News on X at Chad Pergram, a must follow. He also has a newsletter out that I think you can get, and it is detailed. I really appreciate it. If when you're trying to figure out what's going on in Congress, I kind of wish Congress would read it. Maybe that would help. Thank you, Chad Pergram, for being with us today. All right, quick break. YouTube live chat poll. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? Yes or no? Let's discuss that with the crew when we come back. We'll read some of your comments on this particular question, where you can go to YouTube. Just open your YouTube app on your phone or on your computer, youtube.com, type in Annie Frey, F-R-E-Y, and you'll see that we're broadcasting live right now when you find our channel. There's a live chat to the live broadcast every day. And when you log in there, you're going to be able to see that poll question asking if you'd support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk. You can vote. If you subscribe to the channel, after 5 minutes passes, you can leave a comment as well. Storm says the death penalty is in direct conflict with Charlie Kirk's message. I wonder if you agree with that. We'll take a break and be right back. Don't go away.
Pour me a drink. Bourbon brown eyes trying to get me drunk. Ain't stopping till the bottle and the job is done. Hey, I think I might have found my future.
Lutheran education. This is an opportunity for you. This is accessible to you. I want you to just take a look at the website. It doesn't cost you anything, of course, to take a look at the website. And also, when you start learning about Lutheran schools near you, you might understand this is exactly what I've been looking for my kiddo or for my grandkids. Lisa, STL.org is the website. Lisa with an E. It's Lutheran Elementary School Association. That's where Lisa comes from. LisaSTL.org. You can learn about the 34 elementary schools in the bi-state region. And you can consider transferring right now if you want. You consider transferring at semester, maybe for next year if you're looking for a change in scenery. If you homeschooled and you want to get them in a more, organized classroom from homeschooling. If you're in public school and you want to get them the heck out of there, consider what a Lutheran elementary school can do for you. Consider what a Lutheran high school can do for you. I'm a graduate of both elementary and high school, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities that were afforded to me when I attended Lutheran schools that I now send my kids to a Lutheran school to benefit in the same way. And I'm so glad that I have had the opportunity to be able to do that. Tuition assistance is available. Special education is in most of their schools. They can support IEPs and special needs as well. Like I said, it starts with a website. Go check it out right now. LisaSTL.org.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Mark Reardon, and Annie Frey, along with Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the last Protecting Your Retirement educational event of the year. It's Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering if your 401k and IRA will last through your lifetime? Do you have your own personalized structured income plan set up? The markets are hitting all-time highs. Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your gains without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, at the Frontenac Hilton, Thursday, October 2nd at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDRURYLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Correll today. Correll Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or on Facebook at Correll Roofing Co.
Our YouTube live chat poll today is, would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? Yes or no? A couple comments to highlight here that we've gotten in our YouTube live chat. One from Bobo says, yes, you reap what you sow. Here's one from Laser Dog. It says, forgiveness and the death penalty are two different things. If you have a comment, you can leave it here, and we will be, of course, monitoring those throughout the show, as we always do, on today's YouTube live chat poll. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? It is 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Annie Fry is back because truth doesn't take a break. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Did you see is this Ace Ventura 2? The song, is it?
Is that what you think of
Yes.
when you hear The Lion Sleeps Tonight?
Yes, that or Lion King.
Is that song in The Lion King?
They sing it. Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh, that's
sing
right.
it.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, they're hunting bugs.
Yes.
Slugs.
Yep. It's a way to get around the weird dynamic of a anthropomorphic cartoon, is to not have them eat each other and just eat bugs. That's what I always thought when I saw that scene.
Do Pumbas eat animals? I know they could be.
Lions do.
Well, the lions still in Lion King eat other animals.
Do they? I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that
Dude,
movie.
do you not know the Lion King? You're going to Disney World on Thursday and you don't know the Lion King?
On Sunday, we're going to go to Animal Kingdom, and I'm going to have to watch the live version of it to see if they eat each other.
The Lion King show at Animal Kingdom?
Yeah.
They do not. I'll
they
just
don't?
give you that. But there's a fire thrower. It's pretty cool.
Do they eat
No,
live animals?
The whole point of Simba and his ironic friendship with Timon and Pumbaa is they teach him how to eat bugs, which are slimy yet satisfying, which is not something a lion would do, which is why it's of interest.
I'm looking this up right now.
The Lion King? It was 1994. The movie is 31 years old.
Pumbaa is a warthog.
He was a young warthog.
Hogs eat meat? Yes, they do. Though they are primarily herbivores. But they will eat meat. Guess that doesn't really answer that, because then we're both right.
Can we talk about something else?
Nope.
Harris's book. You talked about this a little bit. We talked about it last week, but the Kamala Harris book, people are saying that this is the end of her political career. She's had the most ends of her political career that I've ever seen a politician have. I don't know why this would be the nail in the coffin when she was somehow appointed to be the nominee for Joe Biden's absence. And there has to be the only way to make sense of the Kamala Harris anointing was essentially she got to have the war test that Joe Biden and she raced together during the campaign, because it was the Biden-Harris. If Joe Biden steps out, the only way that anyone else would have access to those funds is if they blessed it. And do we believe that Joe Biden was run out?
Yes.
Is there any question about that?
Well, yes, there's question, but
Joe Biden tweeted out that he was not going to run for office again.
well, we think Joe Biden tweeted it.
He auto-penned it.
Somebody tweeted it from his account.
I want to know that story. I want to know who typed the words and who was in the room when they were typed, the words that Joe Biden put on that X post. He announced it on Elon Musk's platform.
I think we know.
You know why? Because that's where people would have read it.
75% of that story. There's still 25 that were like,
The 25% is the interesting part.
But I think there's a lot with the Clooneys getting involved and the Obamas all kind of, colluding, if you want to put it that way, to push him out through public pressure.
I wouldn't add. I don't know that specifically the Clooneys. What he did was he just said out loud what everybody was thinking, and he had to have been thinking already. He just said it out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I mean, I'm not a George Clooney apologist, but I don't think him being like, I don't know if he's up for the job publicly is like collusion.
Well, but nobody.
It's just honesty.
But it was a big moment because nobody would say it. Everybody could see it, and nobody would say it.
Nobody,
and it took George Clooney.
Not nobody would say it.
Okay.
None of them would say it.
None of the big players would say it.
In the Democrat Party,
yes,
who have power to throw around. There is not a moment. I can't think of a single moment in Joe Biden's presidency where I felt like he led.
No, I can't either.
Not a single one. Do you remember when he went to Independence Hall flanked by two Marines with this strangest red lit background and basically declared war on MAGA Republicans? How did we get to this moment in time? Do you ask yourself that? How do we get to the moment in time where Charlie Kirk is sitting at a university in super red Republican Utah, and he dies because he thinks wrong? He speaks the wrong things. If Joe Biden was not in command, maybe the whole time, the way we think he wasn't, who put Joe Biden up to that? I don't believe that Joe Biden went and delivered that speech and had any idea what he was doing. I don't think he understood what it looked like. I don't think he understood what it sounded like. I think Joe Biden was doing what he was told. The president of the United States was doing what he was told. Who was telling him what? Those are all important questions that need to be answered. And I thought I wrote it down when Chad Pergram said regarding Congress, like, how do you turn the temperature down? That's what everybody keeps saying. I don't know. Gosh, yeah, am I a homer? Maybe. It doesn't feel to me like the right. Maybe I could let me edit myself while I'm talking about this. Who on the right needs to tone the temperature down? Does Nancy Mace, does Marjorie Taylor Greene, are there other elected people who have positions of power who are inflammatory?
Well, there's most people who hate Trump would say Trump, but that's why Trump got elected.
Yeah, he's the most, people picked him. Well, and I don't think he says the inflammatory things that people accuse him of saying. Like I don't look at him as an inflammatory figure the way the left looks at him like that. They hate him. They despise him. They think that he's something that he really isn't because they've been deceived for a very long time to think that he's responsible for so many different things or was a party to so many different things that were complete and total abject lies.
Yeah, but he embraces it. I mean, he's fine with being that guy.
With being what guy?
With being the guy that takes the heat, that is hated.
He doesn't have a choice.
He pushes the buttons. He puts the 2028 on a hat, that kind of stuff.
But putting 2028 on a hat is not incendiary.
No, but he's leaning into it, though. He pushes the buttons, and he's fine with it. And everybody knew it going into this term.
Yeah, I don't think pushing buttons is the same as inflammatory language. I think that we have to be able to have political battles, especially in campaigns where you get to defend yourself and you get to fight back without taking it to a level that includes violence. And I don't think Donald Trump has anything to do with inciting violence, especially when bullets are flying at his head. Let's talk more about it next. Don't go away.
Life's unpredictable and full of unknowns, but your vehicle shouldn't be. No one wants to face an unexpected repair that could derail their plans and budget. That's why we're introducing CarShield, the ultimate way to future-proof your ride. We're not just about fixing problems, we're about preventing financial surprises. You can get a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan designed to save you from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine driving with complete peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll pay almost nothing for covered repairs. Included in every plan is free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, making it accessible to any driver. Don't wait for a breakdown to realize you need coverage. Invest in the future of your vehicle and your wallet today. Call CarShield now for your free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Future-proof your ride. Call CarShield now. 800-908-8646. 800-908-8646. 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com uses polyjacking, which takes a polyurethane foam, injects it under the concrete that you have at your house, on your sidewalk. That is a trip hazard. It's a liability. It's at your office, the building that you manage, or the maybe apartment buildings that you manage that have tenants walking all over the place. You need to have this solved because you do know that it's a liability. That polyurethane foam gets injected underneath the uneven concrete to raise it up. It's incredibly strong, and he backs up the polyjacking with a 5-year warranty. Matt Hayes will come to your home, to your place of business, to your property, and look at what you're dealing with so that he can give you a clear, full picture of what he can do for you. And he'll be honest as well. Like, maybe he can't help you. Maybe your project is bigger than polyjacking can solve. He'll tell you so that you know what you're getting into before you do. Call him at 314-227-9636. Visit him online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Celebrate September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Take advantage of these huge savings. Spell it forward or backwards, it spells the same, Zero Res.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The defense rests on Lisa Brady. Fox News. At the federal trial of Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to kill President Trump last year on a Florida golf course. Ruth is representing himself and called just 3 witnesses, including a sniper and firearms expert, aimed at suggesting that then-candidate Trump would not have been in danger from the type of gun found in the case and the distance involved. He was not allowed to enter proposed exhibits today.
He attempted to admit photos of world conflict and articles of him receiving an award. Ruth said this case is about narcissism and attention-seeking behavior. He said is to show everything this guy does is to fluff his ego, and it was for attention to the media.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol at the courthouse in Fort Pierce. Prosecutors called 38 witnesses, arguing Ruth plotted an attempted assassination. The judge giving the jury instructions ahead of closing arguments set for tomorrow morning. The FCC chair says ratings got Jimmy Kimmel suspended, not government pressure. Brendan Carr facing some bipartisan criticism over comments he made about Kimmel's remarks after the death of Charlie Kirk, though viewers and affiliates also reacted before ABC's suspension of Kimmel's show. President Trump standing by as border czar following bribery allegations.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Tom Homan, President Trump's border czar, did not accept a $50,000 bribe last year during an undercover FBI sting.
This was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters.
Leavitt also says the president did not direct the FBI or the Justice Department to close an investigation of Homan. Reports from multiple media outlets say Homan was investigated last summer for soliciting payments in exchange for contracts in a second Trump administration.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Let's keep the unsettled weather pattern going, but there's a lot of hope for this upcoming weekend. Periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms around going through the afternoon, not raining all the time, 81. Tonight, clouds, some scattered showers and thunderstorms, 66. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid to upper 70s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, we did a poll. Was it Friday we did the poll? Like, do we talk about our faith too much, not enough, just right? I have thought I thought a lot about that over the weekend. I think 76% of over 300 people voted. Was it 76%? That was the number in my head.
I was going to ask you because I couldn't remember.
I think it was 76%. Said just right. And the other two were not enough or too much. Too much came in third place, but not enough and too much were kind of close to another. I've thought a lot about this, and I find this is just kind of an interesting moment in the timeline of the Annie Fry Show. I think, and I'd be curious of your assessments on this. How long have you been, Ryan, how long have you been with the show?
I think it's almost 6 years. Actually, it's next week is my 6-year anniversary, I think.
Of being on our show or at the station?
On the show.
The Annie Fry Show.
Yeah.
You and I have been dealing with each other for 6 years.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Well, a couple of those were COVID, so kind of mail those in.
Everybody did. We did stay on the air, though.
Yes, we did.
So 6 years. Brad, how about you? How long have you been on the show?
Just over 4.
4 years, because you started right around Labor Day, right when I got back from my maternity leave from Molly. For those who've been listening to the show for a long time, folks, Molly is 4. How does that make you feel? Old.
4 years older than I did 4 years ago.
That's probably what some people think. How long did you listen to the show before you were on the show?
Yeah. Yeah, I listened when you were on the weekends.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I did, although I wasn't a regular listener because I could never remember what time you were on.
Did you? Was it because you were an Uber driver?
No, that was later. This was just, I listened to 97.1, and I would leave it on. I'd turn it on the weekends, and I'd hear you, and there was somebody else on the weekends that I would hear sometimes, but I could never remember who was on when. So I would tune in, and I would go.
Was it content, or was it just news and politics or live programming that you were listening to? Was it Stacey on the Right?
Stacey on the Right was the other one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember who was on what time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tune on randomly and not like it was an appointment, but I would tune in enough that I would just hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always think, man, she's pretty good.
Oh.
Seriously.
But she could be better. I could make her better.
And I was like, you know what she needs? A wacky co-host. No, but actually when I started here.
Wacky.
I thought, you know what I'd like to do? I kid you not. I don't know if I ever told you this.
Is this going to be nice? I need to prepare myself.
It's pretty nice.
Oh.
I thought,
Can you tone it
know
down
what
a little?
A dream job would be is if I could do a show with her because she's really good. And I agree with her, I think, probably 90% of the time. And we could have some pretty good banter. But I didn't know anything about your sense of humor because I didn't know you yet. So once I got hired here and I met everybody here, which is surreal. Like, I know that if you're listening, you're in that boat. And so I'm just telling you, I've been there. Coming in and meeting all the talent that I listened to was weird.
Was it disappointing?
You guys are so much less attractive. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you. Thank
No,
you.
I remember sitting
your
in the waiting room.
voice and your brain are great. Your face.
I sat in the waiting room and I was waiting to do my interview, I guess, because I was out in the lobby, and Mark Cox walked by, and I was like, I think that was Mark Cox.
Did you genuflect?
I wasn't sure it was him, but I remembered him from TV enough that I'm like, I think that was him, but he walked by really fast.
Did he talk?
No, he did not. And I was like, oh, that's Mark Cox. And I was like, ooh, a little starstruck. And then I met you, and you had only been on middays for a very short time at that time.
April 2018.
Yeah, and I started here in October of 2018. So you had barely been on long enough. But I was already like, oh, I like your show. I'm a fan. And I met you, and I met Katie all at the same time. And just was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I think I met Glover quite a bit later. I don't think I met him that day. It may have been because he was on or something when I was here. But it was so strange meeting you guys in person because you listen to the voice for so long. And now, much more, you could see us on the streams. At the time, it wasn't quite as much. But seeing you in person was strange, and it was a little bit fanboyish for me, which is bizarre to say to you because I've been on with you for 6 years now.
I mean, an incredible disappointment. So, Brad, you were a listener to the show. Did you listen on Saturdays?
Yeah, as much as I could. Catching you whenever I would find out. I'll tell you what, really, when I really started listening regularly, I was driving school buses, and whenever you came on to middays, your show was on right at the end. That 2:00 hour was on right whenever I was driving school buses and dropping off junior high students. And I was like, oh, great, I can actually leave this show on the radio with these kids on the bus, because some of the other shows you didn't want to get, it was so firebrandy, or, it was so many things like, all right, the kids are on now, I have to turn it off, and, that sort of thing. But your show was like great for kids on the bus, so I just would keep listening.
Hey kids on the bus,
let's sing a song about Donald Trump.
And then
we rarely say bad words, but once in a while we might say butt or boob.
Wacky co-host.
Yeah, wacky co-host. And then I moved into subbing, and this job I got was a subbing job where I was basically watching an empty room. They called it alternative classroom, which is in-school suspension for the old school people. They called it alternative classroom, and there's no kids at the beginning of the school year because they didn't hire anybody, so they just made me that person until they got a full-time employee. There's no kids in there, so I was just sitting in an empty classroom getting paid doing nothing, and I found the YouTube stream, and I started
on the YouTube.
Yep, and I started chatting with Kevin C. on the chat.
He's still there sometimes.
Yes, and I still like chatting with him. So that's how long I've been listening.
Well, the reason I bring this up is because our poll last Friday was I was asking you to, and we took calls on this, and some people did call us to tell us, you kind of do the faith thing a little much. That one guy was ordering French fries right before he told me that. But they were beef tallow French fries.
At least we all got to hear. We all heard his order on the air.
The reason I bring this up is because before Charlie Kirk's death, I kind of felt that we talked about faith when other people weren't. I kind of felt like it was a distinction of our show. And I know this because people close to me are like, Annie, you're kind of taking a risk when you talk about your faith so much. And these are people who are pivotal in my faith walk in my life, who have made me the strong Christian that I feel like I am, which is hard to say as a Lutheran. I should be better. And they'd be like, I felt like when the opportunity came to be aggressive and super competitive towards whatever it is, like what is the thing that we're fighting for in politics? What is the issue that we're talking about? That I always wanted to make sure that people understood that I was trying to come from a place, just my personal experience of being a faith-based person was a factor in what I do and what I talk about. Because I know a lot of you out there are like that. And those of you who are not like that, if you could hear me talk about it in a way that hopefully doesn't feel like I'm clubbing you over the head with it, that maybe you just understand our perspective a little bit more, even if it didn't persuade you. And this is a really important moment to pause and measure what's going on right now, politically, culturally, socially, is that I am sensitive to how much we are discussing faith and where that fits in the conversation today after Charlie Kirk died, because so many people are doing it. It's not, I don't feel like we're a distinction right now. And I feel like it's almost the converse of, we played the Jasmine Crockett clip a little bit earlier about her talking about how, Charlie Kirk in no way, shape, or form deserves to be honored, and why she thinks he's a disgusting human being, which she's saying in the wake of him dying. And it's like, okay, if you want to say this, maybe wait some minutes, but no, she's going to go out there and she's going to say it. I feel I'm just reflecting, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing A, the right thing, but B, the right thing by you, the listener. To not feel like, we had a commenter, Doug. He's not a Christian. He's told us he's not a Christian. We open up the show. We talk about Charlie Kirk's memorial. We're talking about Jesus. He's like, oh, I'm out. It's a sermon again. How am I supposed to open up the show and not talk about Charlie Kirk's memorial? This is a big story. And the whole memorial was a gospel-based funeral for Charlie Kirk, who is probably the most influential non-political figure in the Republican movement right now. The memorial was Christ-centered. It was gospel-founded. The whole thing. The big story, the big headline, the news headline out of the whole thing is Erica Kirk saying, I forgive him. So now the thing that used to be kind of the distinction for our show, the reason I asked you guys how long you were listening to the show is I'm wondering if you knew that I was a Christian when you were listening before you were on the show.
Yeah, I think I did. I can't remember how I did. It may have been that I saw your Twitter and you said something about it on Twitter, though. I can't remember. But yes, I did know.
Oh, yeah, I knew. Yeah, I could definitely tell.
So it's something that's been a part of this show before you guys were here, which means it's a part of me. And I think the fact that you guys are both foundationally Christian-based people, that is the forefront of what you do in life, and you have been outspoken on it. Ethan, who's working with Mark Reardon right now, very much so. Is he in there right now? I'm going to tell a story on Ethan.
Yes.
He is. He can't hear us right now. And I'm going to tell a story on Ethan.
Soundproof booth.
If you were watching us on YouTube after we made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had been shot, I had Congressman Mike Bost on an interview, and we were getting these reports. I'm doing this interview at the same time I'm getting reports that Charlie Kirk had been shot. And we don't know. That could mean a whole lot of things. Donald Trump was shot. He got up and he said, fight, fight, fight. He went, got a bandage on his ear, and in a couple days he was at the RNC giving a speech. You don't know what that means. You fear the worst. But we're reading all these reports, but none of them were from what I would call a reputable outlet that has some integrity on the line if they report something and it's not true. The Daily Mail comes out, and they've got the headline, Charlie Kirk shot at Utah Valley University. So we know that event actually took place. And so I asked Congressman Bost about that because I was in mid-interview and I wanted to get his reaction to it. We finished the interview. We went straight to Fox News coverage. We're sitting in here on camera going through everything that you were going through, scrolling Twitter, trying to find information, listening to the Fox News reports, listening to the reports over and over and over again that give absolutely zero signs of life information. From the time he was shot to the time they eventually, right at 3 o'clock, said that he did have a pulse, which apparently they got him to have one, but it was never anything material. We're going through all of this together. And when I talk about our Christian faith, when I talk about who we are as people on the show, Ethan came into the studio and prayed in the studio while we were off air. He just prayed. That's who we are as people. That can't be taken out of who we are as broadcasters. And I'm looking at this moment where we're supposed to, we just come in the studio, we open the mic, and I lead, and these guys are up to date on everything that's going on. They have their own life experiences. They have their own thoughts. So you contribute from where you are. We do not pregame any conversations ever. In fact, if conversation comes up and we're talking about something, we very often will say, don't talk about it now. We'll talk about it on the air. So what you get from us is real and tangible for us. But I find it so exciting to be in a position right now where when I open the microphone to talk to you, pretty much up until this moment, Christianity, talking about faith, talking about parenting from a faith-based place, talking about raising kids in a world that is not faith-based, talking about all that stuff has kind of been our niche. And right now it's the main story. Like, how powerful that it's the main story. So I'm asking myself, do I let the main story be the thing, and then do I work to bring in other things that aren't this faith-based conversation? And I'll try to naturally go through and move through topics so that we can do and report on things that need to be discussed, whatever. But isn't it interesting right now that we have to work to avoid the conversation surrounding Jesus Christ? That is an amazing moment in American history. I have never experienced that in my life before.
The only time I can remember was 9/11. It wasn't directly. This is so much more direct because you're talking about one guy. You knew what he stood for. 9/11 was like a national moment that we all kind of, at least for a little while, put everything aside. It felt like we were a little more united. I don't know if you could say that was spiritual or not. But whether this is the answer to your question, Annie, or not, I don't know. But this is what we've been waiting for. I hope that this isn't just a moment and then everything kind of shifts back. I really hope and pray that this is, as many people have used the double entendre, that this is a turning point for America, and that we can all say, yes, that changed things.
And it has to change. The Charlie Kirk message, one that is based and rooted in faith, the Charlie Kirk message is to get married, to have kids, to build a legacy, to pass it along, to have something that you could pass along. And it's not about, like, don't go out and become as wealthy as you can. I think he's often said, have more kids than you can afford, which is one. I've never looked at my kids and being like, you guys are so affordable.
You guys are so inexpensive.
It's just like we have all of this extra money sitting around. What do we do with it?
The sports you play are so cheap.
Do we have a Ruler Foods ad coming up? Darn it. It's always Ruler Foods. I mean, it's just there's no amount of children that you can just afford. You're gonna afford what you can afford. And you're going to make it. And it's going to be fine. But the happiness that comes from committing yourself to one person. Folks, you can really do all of this without having a Christian faith. Like, all of those things you can do without having a Christian faith. But there's something curious right now. And if you watch that memorial, if you saw that memorial, how do you look at something, a funeral, a remembrance of somebody who was just assassinated because he believed the wrong thing? How do you look at that memorial and see joy and peace? The activists on the other side don't react with joy and peace. Doesn't that make you at least a little bit curious? I hope it does. Let's get Ethan in here for Sports and Local next. Don't go away. Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, simple to reach at 314-324-4440. We had Stewie in studio last Thursday, I think it was. The Fed.
Well, you never know.
The Fed dropped rates by, 25 basis points or something. I don't know what all these things mean, so I call Stewie and he explains it to me, and then we have him on the air and he explains it to me and to you at the same time. Regardless, mortgage rates are going to dip, and you are going to have the opportunity to make a good financial decision. As he was telling me off air, people just want to know, how can I save money? It's kind of what we were talking about just before. There are a lot of opportunities for you right now to save money, and Stewie can help you navigate these situations so that you can get a lower rate on your mortgage, so you can pay less every month on that mortgage payment, so that you can finally get rid of that credit card debt that is haunting you, that you don't even want to address because it's so burdensome. You have a solution out there, and Stewie is the phone call to make to get you there. I promise that when you talk to him, whatever the depth of your frustration, your financial situation is right now, Stewie is somebody who can help you, and you can talk to him in a way that he's not going to judge you. I promise. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440, and Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgaier of Fira Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meyer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
Do a job, Ethan.
Yeah!
Do a job, Ethan. That was a listener suggestion, too. And I think the theme this week is going to be the most generic ones we can come up with.
That was my suggestion.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh. Somebody else said that, too.
I make fun of all the dads at baseball games. Kids getting up there.
Hey, do a job now, kid. What you sit out?
Do a job. Yes, sir.
Maybe that's what it's going to be all week then.
I would really like to do a series of Ethan encouragements that are things that coaches say at their kids' baseball games.
Okay. Like, hey, batta, go Ethan?
Swing
No.
batter, Kennedy.
That didn't happen.
Swing batter.
Do a job, Ethan.
Well, speaking of baseball, the Cardinals
So vague.
played their final home series over the weekend. They took 2 of 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers, and yesterday was the final home game of the 2025 season. The Cardinals came out as winners in that ball game, and
Huzzah.
Yay, we did it.
the Cardinals actually, fun fact, you wouldn't have really thought this when you look at the season record as a whole, but the Cardinals ended up 7 games over 500 this year at Busch Stadium. So they did their job in home games. They just, they say the goal is to at least go 5.
Can we enter that score into the playoffs consideration?
I wish we could.
Okay.
I wish we could. They
wanna
say
see.
that if you can go 500 on the road, then you put yourself in a good position.
How'd we do?
We did not do that. We did not do that.
I want so bad for my kids to understand what Cardinal baseball is.
Someday, Annie. Someday.
Me too.
But John Mozeliak was honored yesterday. The president of baseball operations will be stepping down here at the end of the season. They played a video montage at the beginning of the game. He threw out the first pitch.
I read that it was a strike.
Did you know?
Was it not? Pitch
I
strikes?
wasn't there at that point yet,
Oh.
so I don't know. I actually arrived right when Nolan Arenado was getting a standing ovation walking off of the field. He originally wasn't supposed to be in the lineup yesterday. About 10 minutes before first pitch, they put him in the lineup. He goes out to third base, and before the game starts, manager Ollie Marmol walks out to the mound, and he pulls him, allows for the fans to address him, giving him a standing ovation.
Is he hurt?
He's not hurt. Yesterday was a scheduled day off, but I think there is the thought and belief that we may have just witnessed Nolan Arenado playing his last game as a Cardinal at Busch Stadium.
I remember during COVID.
Do you remember?
I do. It was when, we would have Kevin Wheeler on the show to talk sports with us. And I was like, we need to get Nolan Arenado. And he's like, there's no chance. It's not happening. And I was pleading with him. Like, come on. You got to say there's at least a chance. Same thing with getting Albert Pujols back. And I just have to say, that was not based in knowledge. It was just based in sheer passion and will to make it happen. Kevin Wheeler's a much more sensible person when it comes to sports than I am, I'm sure, and objective. But just thinking about how we fleeced the Rockies to get Arenado.
Absolutely.
And I can't help. I love Nolan Arenado. At the beginning of the season, I was like, whatever happens this season, I'm cheering for Nolan Arenado. He was the thing that made me say, I want this for him. And I feel like we did not do Nolan Arenado justice. I know there are people who probably think he didn't do us justice. Maybe that is a conversation that's out there, but I feel like we let him down. Is that ridiculous?
No, not at all.
Okay.
There's serious ground for that. I mean, he opted in with the belief that the Cardinals, he had the opportunity to opt out of his contract following the 2022 season where Albert Pujols went on the miraculous run. The Cardinals won 93 games. He opted in believing that the Cardinals were going to continue
to do what they do.
Yes.
And they did not.
They did not.
And I feel guilty and bad that we didn't do for Nolan Arenado what he thought. Now, I understand it's more complicated than that, but this is what I should say it like this. I wish we could have done better for him. All around.
He very much so implied in his post-game comments yesterday that he knows that change is coming, and he expects that to be his final game as a Cardinal at Busch Stadium. So it looks like it will be the end of an era regarding Nolan Arenado with the Cardinals.
Right now, we officially, and I'm speaking on behalf of all of us, invite him to a chicken supper. And we will provide it.
Chicken fingers or just fried chicken? Because I don't eat meat on a bone.
Fried chicken, but we could get some chicken fingers for
Am
you
I invited? Oh, I'm not invited.
No, you can come, but you got to bring the chicken fingers. But I will provide the muscatoli. I'll provide some salad. Brad will bring drinks.
Is there going to be a marriage and a reception at this?
No.
Where's it going to be?
Hootenanny?
It'll probably be over at my place in the backyard. But Nolan, it's this weekend. Because we know that maybe you're not going to be here much longer. And the weather looks okay.
It's really nice of you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Is there a possibility that he's back next year? Is there a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, Nolan Arenado has a no trade clause. He was willing to waive it last year for 5 teams. The Cardinals were able to find an agreement with a team that wasn't one of those 5, and he said no as a result because he didn't want to go to the Houston Astros. Now, looking back, he probably should have said yes. The Astros are going to be a playoff team this year.
He's got a family situation
He does.
that he is factoring into this. It's not just baseball.
And he mentioned that
money.
yesterday.
Yeah. And God, I just have so much respect for him. I felt like he fit into the way Cardinals do their business, and I feel like we didn't put around him the things that we need to put around him in order for them, the Cardinals, to do their business.
But now the Nolan Arenado and the St. Louis Cardinals are going in a different direction now. The Cardinals are trying to get younger, and they are entering a rebuilding phase. And Nolan Arenado, having him on this team, does not make sense for that reason. The only reason that Nolan Arenado is a Cardinal in 2026 is it depends how far ownership is willing to go to make sure he's not on the team. Are they willing to release him if they can't find a trade partner? That might be what it comes down to.
Arenado and any other Cardinal player he wants to bring.
Just one?
As a +1.
One.
Yeah.
As a +1.
As a +1.
This is really an opportunity for you to really start a feud with one Cardinal player that you isolate to not be able to come. I'm kind of, which would have mortified me, absolutely mortified me, and I'm glad you did not do that.
No, there's no parameters on it.
None.
On that +1. But the first one does have to be Nolan Arenado. I'm not just going to take any old Cardinal player.
Who was it that people used to say you looked kind of like?
Seth Meyers.
No.
Wasn't Scott
Paul
Spiezia?
DeYoung.
Oh, Paul DeYoung.
You,
Paul DeYoung.
You went.
Dustin Pedroia, I used to get too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You went to, because this is just you. Ryan won some stupid thing here and got to go do home run derby at Busch Stadium, and you came back on the show and made some flippant conversation about saying like HGH in DeYoung's locker, which was a total crap, like off the cuff bull crap story. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, nobody thinks that Paul DeYoung is juicing, but you went in a very passive way. And I'm like, you can't say things like that. Do you remember that?
I don't take my responsibilities super
No.
seriously.
And if you could have seen, like, I'm getting hot and nervous right now thinking about you saying this on the show.
So funny.
And I can, like, my stomach turned. Like, I remember the blood running out of my face
I
and
do too.
everything. I'm getting lightheaded.
It was funny
right now.
because of your reaction.
I was like, no, take that back. It did not really happen. You can't just say these things.
You went back into sports reporter mode.
Oh my God. You were never there. You were in full on bologna sausager mode, and I was not here for it.
Real quick, Ethan.
I have PTSD from that.
Who's going to get the last wild card spot? Reds or Mets? Because we're all rooting for the Reds because their payroll is like half the Mets.
I mean, I would lean towards the Mets. They have the better roster by far. So I would lean towards them. But, I mean, I haven't looked at the schedules. It's hard to know, but I would lean towards the Mets.
All right. Well, now that we got that covered.
I just wanted to know. My dad and I were talking about it this weekend.
What'd they think? What did your dad think?
My dad just said, hopefully Reds.
Because of that reason?
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break. Morning Fry Show around the corner. We'll discuss this next. Would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk? Yes or no? Find us on YouTube. Just type in Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y on YouTube, and our channel pops up. Please subscribe. We were 1 subscriber away from 12,500. You want to put us over the top here? We'd love to have you. Subscribe with all of your Google accounts. We don't care if it's legit. But in the live chat portion of today's live broadcast, you can tell us what you think about the death penalty. We'll be right back.
Trying to mess with your self-expression, but I've learned a lesson that stressing and obsessing about somebody else is no fun. And snakes and stones never broke my bones, so
The Retirement Advisory Group. Are you prepared to come hang out with us? Really, it's not for a whole evening. It's just a quick hit opportunity, free opportunity at the Protecting Your Retirement educational event. Here's when it happens. Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton. The event begins at 6:30 p.m. Mark Cox, Mark Reardon, and I show up at 6 o'clock and spend 30 minutes hopefully getting to meet each and every person who is there. Mark Reardon hustles as much as he can because he's obviously doing a show at the time, so he comes and joins us. And then we'll talk to you for just a brief amount of time, hand it over to Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and you can learn how to protect your retirement for free. Doesn't cost you anything. They've got snacks there for for a little bit of enjoyment, and they take up maybe 45 minutes of your time, and then you are on your way. So sign up right now. I love to fill that room with Annie Fry Show listeners. Call them at 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, and tell them that Annie sent you, and you'd like to go to the event coming up on Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton. I'll be there. Mark and Mark will be there. We hope you will as well. RetirementKey.com.
I'm Kristen Press.
And I'm Tobin Heath.
We're World Cup winners, Olympians, and the hosts of The Recap Show.
Every week, we sit down with the icons, disruptors, and game changers on the field and beyond it to talk victories, heartbreaks, and everything in between.
We've built a space where athletes, change makers, and people creating the future of women's sports can show up and show off as their full, unapologetic selves.
Follow and listen to The Recap Show wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgaier of Fira Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
If your kitchen's not even functional and you can't stand the look of your bathroom, stop just living around the problem. Let Lakeside Renovation and Design help you love your home again. From spa-like bathrooms to these beautiful, functional, custom kitchens to a finished basement, their in-house team over there at Lakeside, they're going to help bring any vision you have to life. They're going to walk you through every step of the process, the planning, the permits, all the things we don't like to do. They take care of it. You just have to dream. And they have financing options like 0 payments, 0% interest for 24 months. Schedule your free consultation today. It's lakesiderd.com.
YouTube live chat poll today is, would you support the death penalty for the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk, yes or no? We've been featuring your comments throughout the show. This one is from Jackie. She says, yes, it was not a unilaterally premeditated murder of a person, but an assassination of a leader of a movement. We need law and order to send clear and definitive messages. It's a yes or no question, but you can always leave a comment, and we monitor those throughout the show. We got about 20 minutes more where you can get yours in, that we will see it. It is 2:41. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. From Alton to Wildwood, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's important to take the temperature of the room. That's what we were talking a lot about. We heard Chad Pergram say that there's no thermostat in Congress. Everybody's a thermometer. And I thought, well, that is deeply insightful. Of course, Chad Pergram would say something like that. Here, let's take the temperature of, how are the people out there doing? There's some people who are not too happy with President Trump, of course. Here is what we affectionately call the Meemaws. It's a word that Brad used in a DM. But the Mimas are not okay. They're not happy. Here is a woman who, would you say that this woman right here looks of grandmother age? Certainly.
Indeed.
I don't know if she's a grandmother.
I don't either.
But I think she's a Mima.
Yep.
I just
these are Meemaw protesters.
This one is.
Yes. We're not talking about all Meemaws.
No. But the Mimas, in this sense, you don't want to be one of those. But here's a Mima, and she is standing in front of a person who's got a backpack on, and it looks like a fishing pole, but I think it's just a rod with an effigy of Donald Trump hanging from it.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yes, you can see the yellow hair and the suit, and it's like it almost looks like a stuffed animal effigy sort of Trump, and that's hanging from a rod out towards Meemaw here. And I just want to point out that Meemaw's shirt says MACA, which is Make America Kind Again. Ryan, tell us what's going on here.
So, okay, Meemaw wearing that shirt is beating the piñata of Donald Trump with some real fierce anger.
She looks pretty happy, honestly.
She's gotten it pretty
She looks like
far.
this
Oh, it's on the
made her
ground, and
day.
she's continuing to beat it. Oh, now other people are jumping in and stomping on it. Man, there's a lot of hate. This is
the MACA movement.
That Donald Trump, piñata or whatever that is, has seen better days now after the MACA movement got a hold
And
of it.
can you read the back of her shirt there?
It says
The back of the MACA shirt that says Make
Does it
America
say-
Kind Again.
Does it say "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you"?
It does. So I'll just continue playing this video here on a loop. And once again, she is beating the sugar out of a very crude effigy of Donald Trump.
So she's saying, "I want this to happen to me," because everything she's doing.
I think that's up for interpretation.
I think you might be right. I don't think she would actually want that, but she is doing that. Boy, this is quite a contradiction we're watching here. Not really sure how to handle that. I mean, she's having fun, but her face doesn't show it. Her face looks pretty mad at that Donald Trump piñata. There wasn't any candy in it either. That's kind of dumb.
Maybe that's why she was so excited when she was hitting it. She's just hungry.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe she.
Just
maybe
like
she's,
you when you're on your
Maybe she's
added sugar
hypoglycemic.
strike. Now it makes sense.
And she needed some Reese's. That she tore that thing open thinking, I'm going to feel better in about 10 seconds. And then there was nothing in it.
Did the right do that to Joe Biden?
I can't remember that. I tell you this. Whenever Donald Trump travels overseas, especially to Britain, they do their best to make a mockery of him. And I don't remember that.
Be specific. Who's they?
The far left of Britain.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he just participated in his second state dinner with all the who's who of Great Britain. And one of the things that Donald Trump said when he was at this beautiful long table that was set for Trump and American dignitaries to sit there along with I think Starmer was there, and of course the King and Camilla and Kate Middleton was sitting. What is that? Is that her name still?
Princess Catherine.
Princess Catherine, sitting next to President Trump, like absolutely beautiful. But he stands up and he's reading his remarks, and he goes, "This is our second state dinner," and he goes, "This is the first time that this has ever happened," and he goes, "I'd personally like it if it's the last time it ever happened." And Charles laughs because it's funny. Because Trump wants to be the only person who he wants that distinction. This has only happened one time with Donald Trump. They showed him enormous respect. They did what people now call platforming Donald Trump. They respected him. They dignified him. But the far left in Britain.
Yeah, and I know we're comparing the far left in Britain to the left here. But
I bet the British far left sounds smarter.
Maybe.
It's the
it might be
accent.
the Cockney ones. But
You don't talk like that here.
The far left in Britain, every time he's gone over there, they make an absolute show of it. They make a mockery of the visit. They put these big Trump balloons out, and they just make him goofy. and some of it is biting satire, and some of it's not that funny.
Don't they have a Trump baby?
I think
One
that's
of
the
them?
thing I was referring to with the balloon. But when Biden went over there, the far right in Britain didn't do that. And I know I'm comparing a different country here, but it's to your point that for whatever reason, this kind of stuff seems to come out of the left more. I can't tell you why, but that lady, there's got to be irony in what she's doing. She has to know that. I don't know if she realizes it in the moment, but afterwards, somebody's got to point that out to her.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, there's pretty big news out there in the old censorship department. Jimmy Kimmel Live is coming back to ABC after suspension. How is that possible if the government shut him down? Are you telling me that ABC just came back and said, okay, you've served your suspension and now it's done? I don't think that happens when censorship takes place. If the FCC and Donald Trump were the ones who shut Jimmy Kimmel down, wouldn't they have to be the ones who permit him back on the air? Golly, it looks like this narrative is falling apart before our eyes. Let's discuss the details when we come back.
No man on the Minnesota Vikings. True hurts needed something more exciting.
TheDiamondShop.net in Clayton. You're going to find the Diamond Shop is just incredibly accommodating to anybody who is looking to buy something special, some sort of fine jewelry, something to mark an occasion. Yes, Christmas is very close. September, October, November, December. We are in a place right now where we are very close to Christmas, where we're thinking about buying something special. You may want to spread it out over the course of a couple months, 6 months, same as cash when you shop at the Diamond Shop. So they're going to be able to help finance that in a way that makes it a little more affordable. But also, boy, if you were looking for an opportunity to save on something really special, 30% off all in-stock jewelry right now at the Diamond Shop, 40% off all in-stock sapphire jewelry to celebrate September. So go visit them. See them in Clayton. Go into their store and shop and see what they have in stock that you might be able to save a nice, pretty penny on. If you are looking for something custom, if you're looking to transform a piece that you have, maybe one that you inherited, Tom's going to do amazing things for you there as well. A VIP special free travel jewelry box with $200 purchase. Find them online at thediamondshop.net.
From border security to school choice, the Constitution to the culture war. Made in America. Heard in the Midwest. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgaier of Fira Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more.
A family member or friend that gets paid weekly. This Medicaid program is available to eligible St. Louis residents.
New to Medicaid? The Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area,
this service is available through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid weekly. So go to freedomcare.com now, or for faster service, call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Rooted in faith, grounded in family. We're back with more truth. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I want to give you the opportunity to attend a vigil for Charlie Kirk this Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. at the Madison County Courthouse in Illinois. It's being hosted by Turning Point USA at SIUE. They created a brand new Facebook page. They were kind of functioning like via Instagram and stuff. I'm like, you want the old people there? You got to get on Facebook. They were like, okay. So go follow Turning Point USA at SIUE on Facebook, and hopefully I'm going to see if I can make this work in my schedule. The event is going to be Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at the Madison County Courthouse in Edwardsville, and it is a Turning Point USA at SIUE is the one hosting it. I shared it on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, so come follow us there as well and share this event. If you can come, go. If you can't, make sure you share it. Either way, let people know. Fox News reports here before we get to the break. ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live will return on Tuesday after a brief suspension. The Walt Disney Company has announced, quote, last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made. Oh gosh, these ads drive me crazy. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy. And after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Boy, are we going to get to find out what Disney and Jimmy Kimmel really stand for on Tuesday night. I'm excited to see it.
I am too. This is actually one of the better things that could happen.
I agree. I don't really want Jimmy Kimmel. Nobody watches Jimmy Kimmel, so
yeah, who cares?
Everybody will be watching Tuesday night, though.
That's true.
If he wants to grow his viewership, he has a huge opportunity to do it tomorrow night. And if he wants to double down, he has a huge opportunity to do it tomorrow night.
He's going to double down.
You're darn right he is. Let's get the YouTube live chat poll. Ethan, you have the results for us?
Quick shout out to my wife for being the 12,500 subscriber.
Mrs. Hannaford for the win. You are the best of us. Thank you.
Can't believe it took you so long, Hannah. Unbelievable. 347 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Would you support the death penalty?
Welcome to the hazing of the AFS, Hannah. You are officially one of us.
For the convicted shooter of Charlie Kirk. 82% say yes, they would support the death penalty. 18% say
Brad,
no.
do you support it?
Yeah, I think so.
Ryan?
I'm 100% yes.
Yes. I think it's something that is part of our system, and definitely that's the justice system at play. Mark Reardon and that announcement from the Oval Office coming up next.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
TheDittamoreGroup.com. You can check them out online. Boy, if you're listing a home soon, if you're thinking about listing a home soon, you want an expert, you want a fighter, you want someone who's also really fun to hang out with, who's not going to be bothered by your text messages, and that when you get their text message, you're going to be like, oh, that's fun. Tammy texted me. Or working with Zach and Pat and Abby and Trisha. This team is so fun. They're so good at what they do. They have 50-plus years of collective experience working in this environment of whatever the market is at any given time. And that's the thing. What is the market at any given time? It's always changing. You need somebody who is full-time and experienced to help guide you in making the best possible decisions to list your home for top dollar. Do not leave money on the table because you went with Aunt Sally, who just got a real estate license. Aunt Sally is great, but you need to sell your house for top dollar. Let's just be real. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. Give them a call today, and you'll be happy you did. TheDittamoreGroup.com.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance